What a lovely singing voice.
I can sing. Going downtown to the chicken store. Gonna buy myself something, but not a boar. Hey, welcome to a new episode of Enter the Nerdon, guys. I'm here with
Stan Warrencini. Welcome.
Watson Bradshaw.
And it's me, obviously, Steve-O.
Hey, welcome to the podcast, Steve-O.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be here. I always wanted to be on your podcast.
And you immediately stapled your ball sack to the seat.
That's weird.
I felt like, if you didn't want me here, this would be the best way to keep me in the chair.
Yeah, you really can't leave now.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty much stuck here.
Yeah, I mean, you're bleeding all over the floor.
Yeah, it hurts, but, I've suffered a lot of pain over the years, so it kind of doesn't feel like anything, actually.
You've basically made yourself impervious to pain.
Yeah, I'm like that villain from the World Is Not Enough where you can't feel pain,
That's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut.
Renard, I think his name is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, straight with a name.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, that well-regarded villain that everyone knows.
That everyone remembers.
Everybody, the Pierce Brosnan, I think it was his last one. No, it wasn't. Never mind.
Yeah.
Chad, welcome.
Oh, hey, Chad. What are you doing
sorry.
here?
I don't know.
Steve ripped off his ball sack as he ran
There's
out.
still a little sliver of sack on the chair.
Get out of here. Go.
Get out of here, Steve-O.
Skit.
Oh, you got Steve-O's again. Get him out of here.
I'd love to have Steve on this podcast. Can you imagine? He's a great storyteller. Have you watched his podcast?
Yeah.
I've caught clips and stuff. Yeah.
Was it? It's not Wild Boys. Is it?
No, it's. I forget what he
Wild
named it.
something, isn't it?
Something like that. Yeah.
With Steve-O. Yeah, his Steve-O podcast. Yeah. He's got a lot of good guests on it. He's got a really interesting story. That guy, and he asks his guests really good questions. They have pretty good conversations on that.
Yeah. Even Stone Cold's
the Broken Skulls.
Sessions? That's pretty good too.
Really good. Yeah.
He has
surprising.
his own podcast?
Yeah.
Really?
He's really good too, and just like obviously talks to a lot of wrestlers. And, they talk about the reality of it all behind the curtain kind of thing.
It's
pretty good. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, the episode where Undertaker was on was really good.
Oh yeah.
Because Undertaker, he stayed in character like his entire career.
Most of the time,
he was like, even if you saw him in a restaurant, anything, he was the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And finally he's like, hey, I'm Mark, and it's just like, oh shit, and he's got some great stories.
Yeah.
And in the podcast, Steve Austin is pretty much just he's not up here with his like, hey, let me tell you what I'm gonna he's just talking to you normally oh man, it was great times in Japan and blah, blah, blah.
I watched his documentary on on YouTube. They got a whole documentary of his retrospective of his career.
Oh shit.
And just where he came from, he was playing football in Texas to he was it was just one weekend he went to a local wrestling show and was just like, that's it, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And just dedicated himself to it. And then he was obviously studying Steve Austin in WCW, and he was like, this isn't going anywhere.
Was it a bone crusher after that or something?
Oh yeah, well and he got fired over the phone.
Oh. Because
he got injured, and then basically they were like, yeah, you're done. And Paul Heyman was running ECW at the time, was like, hey, why don't you come, you need a job? And he's like, I can't wrestle. I've got broken, I broke my collar and all this. And they're like, well, just come in and do promos. And that's where the Stone Cold kind of element started, because he just started talking shit, basically. And was like, oh, he's really good on the mic.
Yeah.
But didn't he break his neck in WWE?
Yeah.
At some point, that's why he couldn't wrestle as much anymore?
Got tombstoned by Owen Hart.
That's what it was, yeah.
I thought it was Undertaker.
No, not tombstone. It's a pile driver, which is basically a tombstone.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you're going to, when you go down, you're going to go down to your knees to protect his head.
Yeah.
And Owen Hart went down to his butt.
Oh, shit.
And, his head was exposed and boom. So, yeah, I think he fractured his neck or something. Yeah, it fused.
The good old days when wrestlers actually got injured.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was, because I remember him, he would just kind of he was just kind of showboating after that. He was kind of just he went back to Condensed doing the promotional stuff.
Yeah.
He really wasn't, he would show up.
He was still the hottest thing on the scene at that point. And people forget, like WWE was on the out. Like at that time, like they were barely filling venues. Like it was
early 2000s.
Yeah,
right?
Mid 90s, mid 90s.
Mid 90s, really?
Yeah,
really?
Because it was like right after the whole like Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, and it was like it was that weird transition, like because Stone Cold kind of came on the scene, and like the Attitude Era is what it's called, like Rock, Stone Cold. That was all like 97 and on. So it was like, he joined WWE as the ringmaster was his character name.
Yeah.
Where it was like the worst character.
He didn't jump through a wall and trip, did he?
No,
like Shockmaster.
No, like no. But he didn't know what to do with his character. He was just like, I don't know what this is. And then one day he just like shaved his head. Yeah. And basically was sick and tired of being the ringmaster. And Vince McMahon was like, all right, you do whatever you want, And he came up with the whole Stone Cold thing, and it exploded. And he was on this is gonna be a Stone Cold episode apparently, but he was on like King of the Ring was a pay-per-view where it was like it's elimination matches, right? So he started wrestling at the beginning of the day, like busted his lip hard, had to go to the hospital, get stitched up, come back and finish because he was gonna win King of the Ring, and then like someone like he was wrestling another wrestler. I think it was Jake the Snake at the time. Yeah, who was very religious. Yeah. And he kept like quoting Bible verses during his promos. And so Steve Austin came back and was like, you keep quoting the Bible. Well, Austin 3:16 says, I just whooped your ass. And that's where the Austin 3:16 thing happened. And that was the start of his whole thing. Yeah, his run till like early 2000s. He went from like his career, like as crazy as it is, how like cemented in wrestling is. It was only from like 97 to like 2003, 2004.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't.
And then he had to retire. I mean, he's come back and done things, but it's just crazy to think like that's not a long run,
right?
Compared to like like your Ric Flair and stuff, who's been around
Hulk Hogan's,
30, 40, and Hulk Hogan's still wrestling, right? So, but I think it was just like. It was the perfect, like, it was him, Triple H, The Rock, Kurt Angle. It was like all that kind of time. Yeah. And Undertaker, like all these characters kind of just blossomed. Right. And kind of brought wrestling back.
Right. Yeah, it's
in the way that you use it. That's how I.
That'd be your entry theme.
That's your entry theme. That's as you're walking down. Yeah, as you're walking down. Yeah.
Where don't use it.
But you're singing. There's no music. You're just singing it acapella style.
Oh, that'd be good. First wrestler to sing his own intro.
And then fireworks go off. And I'm just wearing jeans. Just jeans.
Full jeans.
Full polo jeans.
Yeah.
I'd pay money to see that.
Do you have a wrestling theme in your head? Do you have a song that you come down to the ring?
My name would be Jimmy Jean, though.
Jimmy Jean.
Jimmy Jean's here.
I do Fortunate Son.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Because it fits in with the veteran narrative.
Yeah.
Mostly every time you see a Vietnam movie, that song is playing.
So your whole character would be military.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would love to see if they had like a fake helicopter shoot like a firework down to the ring, and then you just appear.
Yeah, it's Agent Orange.
Agent Orange.
That'd be sick. That'd be great.
Oh God, that piss up so many Vietnam vets. Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, but then, hey, you could be a heel that way.
That's true.
He's using his move, the napalm knee.
Oh my God,
he's got ears on a necklace.
Oh shit! I'm thinking of so many jokes right now, but I don't want to say them.
We love our veterans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Oh, here he comes down the Ho Chi Minh Trail as I'm running down the ring. Oh shit!
Oh, it looks like they're up on the Hamburger Hill.
Oh God. I'm sorry, Vietnam vets. Yeah. I can make those jokes.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
You definitely earned the right. Anyone that shots fired at them can say whatever the hell they want.
It's true. Yeah. But so we've all started watching Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Right. When the latest episode is not dropped, right? Correct me.
It drops tonight, I think, at like 9 o'clock.
Right. Yeah.
I knew.
So
I was gonna watch it before coming out. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, we can watch it after the podcast.
Yeah.
Then do another podcast about that. But what do you guys think so far? Because you know my thoughts. We just had the latest episode where everybody was losing their minds. I thought that was a little overblown. I don't know why everybody's losing their minds like that, but you know.
There was a lot of. I thought it was good. I mean,
I thought it was good. It was definitely the best episode so far.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of shit that I was like, what was that? Why did they do that?
Maybe
I don't understand.
Because did you watch all of Ripples, Watson?
Yes.
Ripples?
Oh,
Rebels.
Yeah.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Well, I only asked because maybe it was so good for those fans that only watched or have watched Rebels, because I was like, there were some things I was like, was there something I missed that was?
Well, I think also we got to see more of Ahsoka doing the flips and stuff.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people complained about the first episode, how her fighting style has changed.
Yeah.
Because obviously
it's very stiff.
It's real life, but you finally got to see kind of her kind of use more of her. I mean, because she was going up against a Jedi, as well. You know, so you could see them kind of face off against each other. And you even got to see Sabine versus Billie Eilish, whatever her name is. I try to remember her character name.
I always just say the blonde Jedi,
right?
Because
but there was
think
the both Padawan, like fighting styles.
I will say, out of all of them in that episode, the character obviously the blonde Jedi, she's the best duelist, I think.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is kind of slow, I mean, I understand Ray Stevenson. He's tall. He's a very tall guy, huge
powerful guy,
and that's how he would handle a blade of his height and stuff. And he would be more on defense. He'd be more on defense.
Well, it looked more like he was doing it like a medieval knight kind of look. Like the way his moves were.
Yes, very medieval.
Like stunted. It wasn't.
And he's been in a lot of Rome. He's been in a lot of medieval stuff as well.
He knows how to deal with a blade.
My only problem was Ahsoka. She didn't pull out the second blade. I was like, you got two blades. Oh yeah. Why didn't
that was weird? I mean, there was.
I was like, maybe it's respect. Maybe it's like because 2 is not Jedi. The Jedi way, I guess.
Right.
Or something
her name is Shin Hati, by the way.
Shin Hati.
Just Shin.
Yeah.
I think you made a joke the previous episode. Is like, oh yeah, Hati.
That one made me remember it. Okay.
There you go.
There you go. Just remember it that way.
The biggest letdown, I think, was everyone was expecting the Merritt guy. The other apprentice.
Oh yes.
Like everyone expected big things from that character, and he gets dispatched.
That was my problem.
Quick.
That was my problem with one of my problems with the episode is we'll talk about the negatives, but so far, what do you guys think about the episode before I tear it apart? I do everything.
I like the episode. I'm very excited to see where the story's going, especially with this upcoming episode. I think they're showing it in theaters.
They are, yeah.
So I'm like,
wait, the episode?
They're showing
this latest one, episode 5, is going to have a limited run in theaters.
Yeah. Is it like a 60-minute episode?
I don't know.
It must be if they're showing it in theaters.
Yeah,
I don't know what the length is, but I heard they're showing it in theaters.
Right, but obviously they're like, this is the one to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wow.
Well,
maybe
we'll see.
Maybe we'll have to go to the theater for that one.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I'm excited to see where the story goes.
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes are there this season. Has it been confirmed?
I thought it was 8.
8?
I thought it was 8.
I thought it was 8, but it could be 10. I mean, Disney usually goes around 8. It's usually they're
6 to 8.
Yeah, and I mean, I like what I've seen so far. It's just no matter what, it's most likely going to end on a cliffhanger. And I would like it to have its own,
because they're setting up the Filoni movie stuff. Yeah,
I would like for it to have its own conclusion.
Me too.
Yeah,
just so you could be like, oh, this was great as a standalone,
right? But
it's also going into this. So,
well, I think it really. I mean, they started the show. It's not really standalone because it's so set in the Rebel world. Like, I feel like if it doesn't end as a standalone, I get it, because it's like, okay, this is a real continuation of Rebels and wherever they're going to go next. So, but yeah, I understand the reason. Like let's have it cemented and done.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like even if Andor didn't get a second season, I think that show in general is so perfect.
Right.
That first season, like you can just watch that and be happy.
Absolutely.
With Disney's tendency to cancel projects,
yeah,
maybe you should end the show in a way
it's hard to,
in case they don't go through with the movie,
Yeah, it's got to be really difficult as like showrunners on shows where you want to set like Like with Andor, they said, "Oh, we have a 5-season arc we want to tell," and they were told, "No, you get 2 seasons."
Right.
You know, so the next season, I think, is gonna be like all like 4 seasons worth of story.
Damn.
Like there's gonna be like time jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. Like I'm like, because especially based on that first season, those writers can do amazing things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I liked the episode. It was definitely the best of the season so far, of the show so far.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot that I was like, what's going on here? Why are they doing that? You know, I mean, I got to point out some of the things that I found really weird, which is her going into space on her ship. I didn't get that. I don't understand why they did it.
The spacesuit stuff?
Yeah, the spacesuit stuff. I don't.
Hey, at least she wasn't floating in space like Leia, right?
At least there's that. I mean, at least there's that, I guess.
Well, I guess because the cannons were out and stuff. Like, she's like, well, I got lightsabers.
So here's the problem.
They work in space.
Well, here the problem is, like, were the shields on? So if the shields were on, how could she walk around on the hole? Wouldn't she be able to not push through the shields because they're technically like an energy barrier around the ship?
Well,
or they must have dropped the shields, I guess. So why would they do that? That means like one hit and you're pretty much done. And then, which was really
because they said pretty much everything on the ship was dead at that point, right?
So what really confused me is like, why were the fighters? It's not air.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't the fighter? I would just stop and just fire on her. You know, like, okay, yeah, people were saying like, well, she could deflect them. Well, those bolts are much heavier than handheld weapons.
Right.
So they probably would just punched right through the lightsaber and killed her.
Yeah.
Well, she could have used the Force and crushed the wing or something.
So that would have made a little more sense if she used the Force. Then the fighter gets like within 5 feet of her for some reason. I didn't understand that. The problem is that they just want to make it look cool. Let's get Ahsoka on the whole of the ship, and then let's make it look cool. She did a flip.
Good visual.
Yeah, she did a cool flip. That looks like Rebels. That looks like remember guys?
Right, yeah.
Remember guys? Remember berries? That looks like Rebels when she does a flip. That's what it was. And it's just like, so I think that's one of the problems with the show. And I think I've said it before, is you have to do a lot of homework in order to enjoy it properly. And so you have to have had pretty much watched all of Rebels and pretty much most of Clone Wars, if not all of it. That's a big problem, I think, for casual fans who just don't have the time and the energy or the interest to watch those shows. So watching this show, I only watched the first 2 seasons of Rebels, and I watched all of Clone Wars, so I'm definitely one of the people that they're reaching out to.
Yeah.
But like someone, who is a casual Star Wars fans, which
this
is
show is not
the vast majority of people are, it's not for them, right? So that's an issue. I get what Dave Filoni's trying to do. I don't understand why they keep trying to translate from animated to live action. Usually it's the other way around, but it doesn't always work. And I think that we've seen that with Ahsoka, where it's a human being who is I love Rosario Dawson, but she can't move like Ahsoka can in the animated series for physical reasons. So,
also you got you're trying to tie this in with the rest of what we've seen in live action, right? So if you suddenly see her doing insane flips and stuff, you're like, well, why can't Luke do that? Why can't
exactly? And that's the issue when you're trying to do it from animated to live action,
right?
And vice versa, I suppose. But I mean, overall, the show is pretty good. The episode is pretty good. I hated that they did this thing. Maybe he's not completely dead. Everybody was the enemy that was the Sith guy, the
Merrick.
Inquisitor, whatever, Merrick. Who's wearing the medieval armor helmet.
The coolest looking guy.
Well, so here's the problem with Disney, right? And I don't know if this is Kathleen Kennedy's fingerprint on it. I don't know what it is, or just Disney in general, right? The way Disney in general is doing right now, they're not doing great. Financially, they're not doing great storytelling-wise. They have a really cool, compelling villain in him, and it seems like, oh, you know what? He might be overshadowing. We got to take him out. We got to take because you can't have a cool, compelling villain that's overshadowing the main story, the main characters.
Right.
So which is crazy because before the old Star Wars, that's all it was.
Yeah.
Darth Vader. Everybody was compelled Darth Vader.
Right.
Everybody liked Luke, but it was Darth Vader. Holy shit! Who's this guy? The Emperor? That's crazy. There's somebody above Darth Vader. That's insane. What's this Darth Maul guy? Who knows?
Yeah.
But the thing that Disney's doing lately, it seems like they're doing a lot of bait and switching, which is like, we thought this guy was going to be Ezra Bridger. We thought he was going to be a Star Killer. All these, as soon as all that came out, I was like, first of all, these theories Disney's known to like laugh at fan theories.
Oh yeah.
Even though they would make a lot of sense and they would please a lot of fans, and just thematically in general, they're like, wow, that's I like that theory. Let's go with that. No, of course not. They got to shit on it. So it seems like they took a really cool, interesting character that they knew people were going to like, and let's just kill him off,
Mm-hmm.
So now the Ezra Bridger thing is if he doesn't come back, that's gone. The Starkiller thing is gone, and we had this really cool character who is just he was this really interesting, compelling character. We ought to know that we wanted to see more in action, and I was excited to see him fight Sabine. Sabine, yeah, and it just didn't. All of a sudden, he's just dead. Now they might do this bait and switch thing again, which is like, oh, that was some kind of spell or something he had on.
Yeah, there was
because smoke.
Yeah, there was that black smoke that came out of him.
Straight from like it's
Rise of Skywalker.
No, from Clone Wars with the sisters of the
exactly
yeah.
So it's like
the
Force
Night
magic
sisters.
kind of
Well, if anything,
so there might be an army of those.
So that's what, or I'm thinking maybe it's like. Maybe it still is Ezra, but he was under some kind of spell or something, and that's how he was. They're kind of compelling him. So maybe the next episode, the last shot will be, the guy's body's laying there, and he takes off his mask, and we see who it is. It's just like, where am I? Where I been? That kind of shit. If they did that, I would respect it more. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but if they did that, I would be like, okay, that's something interesting at least.
Right.
I think it was just a red shirt.
That's subverting our expectations. That is.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, they needed hottie, I forget her character's name.
See, exactly.
Shin
Hottie.
Just think of your shin bone.
Shin.
Shin.
Ow, my shin.
Yeah.
I think they needed a character for Shin to, because how mad she was when Merrick got killed. She was like, ah! And then the fight kind of got a little more intense. So
he's the Boba Fett of this show, right? Like, everyone was so all in. But when Empire comes out and you have, Boba Fett on screen for 15, seconds, and like everyone creates this whole lore in their head,
right?
Well, in my head, he the way they used him, he reminded me of in Hellboy the Nazi knife guy.
Oh yeah.
Well, I forget that character's name, but he was pretty much the same type of role. I was like the faceless silent assassin type of guy.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. You could say the same thing about the Knights of Ren. You had these cool, compelling characters that they use for 2 minutes.
So that's a good.
That's what I'm talking about. It's this constant thing that Disney's doing lately, because I don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like lately it's just like, we got this really cool, compelling character that fans are going to love, but we got to make sure he doesn't overshadow our main storyline.
It's okay. We'll put out 6 books about it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you can catch up on him, who he was in his backstory in comic book form. Go fuck yourself. I'm not going to do that. So, and I'm pretty sure that's what they did with a lot of the last trilogies. Mm-hmm. A lot of the backstory was in comic book form. Yeah. Which weren't even that good. So no, I'm not doing that. But I mean, it's I thought the best part of it was Ray Stevenson. Yeah, especially when
his delivery is so
good, dude. Yeah. We really lost someone great with that. But when Ahsoka walks up to him and he's just sitting there with his hood on, and he just says, Anakin spoke a lot about you. Like, oh shit! I was like, this,
like some gravitas.
It felt like early Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah,
that's what it felt like. And
also, Filoni said he did tint their swords orange, so they're not red.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
okay, so can we get into a story on that? I'm guaranteed we won't.
We probably won't, but like
it's in the comic book.
I assume as they ascend to help Thrawn, like maybe their saber will turn full red at the end,
because it's about corruption of the crystal.
Yeah. So with the new Star Wars after Disney took over, that's what it was. Yeah.
Corrupt the Kyber crystal.
Corrupt the Kyber crystal, which I guess makes sense. It's a little. It's
and like
because in the old lore it was that they had to go to a specific place that was very strong with the dark side, to get the crystal.
Yeah,
just like the Jedi have to do with finding their crystal in whatever that place was. I forgot that cavern where they go.
Yeah,
it's also in the video game. But I like that as well. Is like they have to put like their pain and their anger into the crystal to corrupt it, to bleed it basically.
Right. Was it like Kylo Ren's one that was like an artificial crystal, and that's why his blade
it was
looked
like
all crackly?
static.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
I don't
Something
know.
like that. I
Must have been in the comic books. I don't know.
No, they did. I think they did mention
they did not.
It's in the Christmas special.
They didn't mention that. No way. They mentioned.
Well, no. Luke. I think Luke spoke on it. He spoke on his. Yeah,
no. In the movies, I would remember that, dude.
I want to say.
I'm pretty sure he didn't. There's probably in a comic book you read. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's probably in the movie we dislike so much. It
was a deleted scene while he's sucking
might
down
be a deleted scene, but I guarantee you, I don't remember that.
He corrupted his sword.
Maybe now. Maybe
yeah. Like now. I think somewhere.
But he doesn't explain that it's broken. That's why his
he doesn't.
Lightsabers all.
Someone
scraggly.
says it though. It's either Snoke or somebody like, your lightsaber of yours or something like that. Somebody says something about it, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it's not that important.
It's not that well.
Because
it'd still be nice to get an explanation as to why his lightsaber's all messed. I'm sure it's in the comic books.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it just looks cool.
It looks cool. I was good with it looking cool, but if you don't want to explain it, then
I feel that there was a lost opportunity with the episode as well when the Rebel fleet, or the few ships that do join Hera to go rescue. Fleet, yeah. I was like, where's Zeb?
Oh,
yeah.
Like, because we saw Zeb in, was it Mandalorian? He was in there for a minute.
I thought it was Boba, but I think you're right. Man.
And I was like, oh, this is how you get the Rebels all together. And I was just surprised to see, we get that same Rebel pilot, the captain guy that's been in every series so far. Yeah. Like the Phil Coulson of the Star Wars world.
Well,
and not see Zeb. I was like, that's a missed opportunity.
I think Zeb would have been too much money, though.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, you just put him in the pilot, one of the X-Wing cockpits.
I guess, yeah. True.
I'm glad you brought Hera up because that was another thing I was like, what? No, you can't. No, time out. No. She was like, first of all, she takes her son on this really dangerous mission, which I didn't get that. I was like, that's kind of reckless.
There's no daycare in
most
space.
Likely there's a whole fleet that she could have, I don't know about that
Chopper's there. He's fine.
Yeah. You're right. Anyway, so there's that. I was like, okay, well, all right. You're going to take your son into battle.
Yeah.
Who's 8, Okay.
Isn't he force sensitive though? Because he's Kanan's kid.
I think he is. Yeah.
Like I don't think they've actually said it. But
I don't think it said it, but yeah, I think they hinted at it.
They've hinted at it.
Like he's got some Jedi.
Rebels. Yeah. But then she says something I was like, that's a terrible message, guys. She's like, her son asked, like, what are you doing? Basically, like, are you defying orders? And she's like, yeah, when you're a general, you can break orders too. Yeah. You can disobey orders too. No, you can't. You disobey orders as a general, you're not going to be a general for very much longer. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a terrible message. Yeah,
just like in the movie The Siege with Bruce Willis.
There you go, exactly.
I am the law.
I didn't get that line. I was like, that's not true at all.
I mean, I get it. Like, she's going rogue. Like, basically, it's like, it's like the bureaucracy or whatever won't let her.
Well, somebody brought up something, like, I was watching a YouTube channel about this, and somebody brought up a really good point. They said, well, if she's a general, it's like, okay, you've been forbidden from taking your fleet to go investigate. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And why didn't she just dispatch, like, a small, like, squad? Or, like, she's like, oh, hey, by the way, go check this out. Yeah. They said don't take the fleet. They didn't say don't dispatch anybody at all. I was like, oh, shit, that makes sense, Right. But, I mean, I get it. She wants to go find her friends. Her friends are in danger. But, I mean... But yeah, that didn't really get to me that much. But with the whole, like, when you're a general, you can disobey orders too. No, you can't. But go ahead and try.
Well, when it's not technically wartime, maybe that's why she's that reckless.
She's going on a training mission
because it's.
I guess that's the way militaries work. When you're not at wartime, you don't have to follow orders. Not really. I guess that's the way militaries work. I guess that's the way militaries work in Star Trek.
Space rebels. No, they're rebels that became a part of the military. So they still have that rebel mentality.
Even Picard, he went against orders.
That's true, he did.
I mean, what's a rebel
without a contact? He was like, let's fucking kill the Borg, even though we're supposed to check out this nebula.
That's how it works in Star Trek as well, I guess. That's why he's still a captain.
But rebel without a cause, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, but yeah, the episode was. I mean, it was good, and I thought the Ray Stevenson Ahsoka fight was what's his actual name?
His character's name. Brian Brion.
Something like that. Yeah.
Braun.
Balin.
Balin. There we
That's
go.
much cooler.
Yeah.
Than Braun.
Yeah. Great fight. And when Anakin showed up at the end, I was not surprised at all.
Yeah, that was the
like,
big...
I knew this was coming.
Now, a lot of people... There's a lot of hubbub online because he's got the classic Clone Wars look.
Yeah, but he's aged.
And he's got Darth Vader's lightsaber on him, not Anakin.
Right. So people were saying, "Is it Vader?"
Right. Is it
posing as Anakin?
Right.
Yeah, I heard.
Someone
that.
also said it was Palpatine as well.
I don't believe all that. I think it's actually Anakin. I don't. I think that's too much. I think that's too much. Too much thought that people are putting into it, and I don't think that's not where Disney is right now.
Well,
so I think it's just straight Anakin.
What doesn't make sense?
He's a Force ghost at this point.
But then why isn't he blue?
Because he's in the world between worlds.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is kind of like the spirit realm.
Yeah.
So that
which was
realm,
a big thing in Rebels.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that realm they would use to project themselves in the real world, and that's why they're blue.
I suppose so. I mean, I think that's part of it.
So Qui-Gon could just walk through and be like, "Hello,
technically,
how are you?"
Technically, she wouldn't know. She wouldn't know who the fuck he is. But yeah, I mean, yeah, she was. Dude.
No, but
all these dead younglings.
I'm sure. Her talking with Obi-Wan and Anakin, they probably talk about Qui-Gon.
Of course, she knows who Qui-Gon is, but I mean, she'd be like, "Oh, hey, I've heard of you, but why are you in my?"
Obi-Wan would be there. I mean,
he's just like that Beetlejuice meme of it's like just hanging around, nothing,
doing nothing,
just hanging around.
Me, nothing, just hanging around.
Oh, if they did that, I would be like, okay, I'll let it slide.
So yeah, I'm interested in to see what happens next, and I'll definitely watch it when it comes out. We can watch it after the podcast, and we'll go from there. Right now it's 8:30 in our time, so
let's finish this up.
Let's finish it. Yeah, and but yeah, I'm interested. I thought that it was again, like I said, I thought it was better than the last couple episodes we've gotten. I
honestly thought that we wouldn't see like Thawne show up to like the last scene kind of thing.
I still think that's what's going to happen though.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they're already like
he's just looking at glass out into space.
No,
but they already used the big hyper ring thing to get over to the other galaxy now. So.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Oh my god, we brought that up too, man. Yeah, that was my other problem with the they're obviously building this massive thing with multiple hyperdrives.
Right.
Like, I would think that would set off so many bells and whistles within the Republic. They'd be like, what are they doing? What's going on over there? We need to go check it out. Like, this is
But that's why they were using the junkyard thing. Remember they had the junkyard and they were stripping hyperdrives off the old
but
Star
I mean,
Destroyers.
but they uncovered that. Remember,
right?
Because that guy very stupidly yelled for the Empire before shooting. Like,
right,
okay,
but they only had like one more to go. Was the whole thing? So
but
that had been going on for a while.
Yeah, it had been going on for a while. But I would assume that like as soon as that happened, like these guys have been stealing multiple hyperdrives. What's going on? Which was another problem that I kind of had with one of the many problems I had with the latest trilogy, and in a manner of speaking, in what's going on with Star Wars right now with like Mandalorian, is like it seems at Mandalorian made it look a little more subtle because it seemed like there was like scatterings of, Imperial troops here and there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now it seems, especially going into the latest trilogy, that there's a lot more. There's like still fleets left, like floating around out there.
But there's no central intelligence.
Yeah, but it's like always like and I was thinking about the other day. It's like, imagine if like after the Second World War, there was still like a very large contingent after Germany had surrendered, and the Nazi war machine was done, right? Mm-hmm. But imagine there was still like divisions of Wehrmacht and Nazi soldiers still left like in Greenland.
Have you been to Argentina?
Good point.
A lot of blonde babies out there. True. I don't know why.
Oh, there's openly German communities there.
I love all of the chili food that we have down here. It's so delicious.
No, there's openly communities.
South Africa?
Descendants of but they were. But I'm talking about like there's still like armies left, right? Yeah. Still whole divisions with tanks, artillery, planes, and they're hanging out in Greenland.
Right.
And it'd be like, why wouldn't the Allies just be like, hey, you guys gonna surrender? No, we're just gonna continue
I think they did
our regime. Like, no, now we're gonna fuck you up, dude. Now we're gonna ban green and fuck you up. But I get what they're doing this because obviously it's on a much larger scale. The universe is huge. I mean, the galaxy is huge.
Well, and then you kind of see how already, like between this and a few of the shows, how stretched their resources are.
Yeah, they don't have a ton
because they're like, look, we have this many troops out there. Because also it's like post-war, so obviously no one wants to like join the Republic.
Yeah,
fleet,
yeah. Everybody's tired of fighting. It's been a 25-year war basically.
Right, exactly.
So I get it, but it's just I mean I liked it better when it's just like a good example. Again, going back to Mandalorian, where you had a couple of stormtroopers, and their uniforms look like shit.
Yeah.
Because it was just like a handful of guys just kind of just hanging, just just moving around. They're the rebels now. They're running.
Yeah.
Every time that the Republic caught up to them, they would just go further and further out into the outer realm.
It would be cool to see like different heads of the former empire like fighting for
dominance.
So that's feuding with each other.
We kind of got
that's part of the lore in general.
Yeah, with Moff Gideon,
right?
Like his little shadow cabinet kind of thing. That kind of was hinted at.
Yeah,
because they're like Moff Gideon's trying to be powerful, but they're like, we're gonna wait for Thawne.
Yeah, man. And then Mandalorian started doing that too. Is that they started expanding more and more until
lay the tracks a bit.
Yeah, and then we saw more and more of the Empire, and I'm like, there's still a lot of Imperials left, dude.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys gonna do something about this?
Right.
Because there's still a lot of Imperials left, dude. Like, obviously they're gonna come back. Like, what are you guys doing?
Do you think Moff Gideon will try to go against Thrawn though? Like
Probably
how they're
not.
gonna combine it?
I mean,
probably not. I don't think they're gonna. Well, they might combine. They might collide in the Filoni movie, but
let's team up to take
there's
out.
The whole,
I don't think
there's the rumor that the Gideon that we saw get exploded in the end of Mandalorian was a clone,
right?
Because he didn't have a mustache. There's the whole mustache gate. Because when Moff Gideon was in the first few seasons, mustached man. Last season, armored man, no mustache.
Right.
Maybe to wear the armor, he has to shave the mustache.
It chafes. It chafes.
It's true. I didn't see very many Imperial officers with mustache. It must be out of regulations.
Yeah.
See? Somebody told him, hey there, sir, you know that you're out of regs, right? With that mustache? Oh.
If you wear a Darth Vader-like uniform, you can't because his facial hair is burnt. So
right.
He can't have facial hair. You can't have facial hair. So you gotta
make sense.
Remove it.
There's no aloe in the future. You can't or future.
Oh, that feels amazing.
So yeah, Ahsoka, we'll check out the latest episode. Later tonight. And Watson, you set up something for us with Creep.IE Con.
Yeah, so
Creep.IE.
Creep.IE Con.
So it's the Ontario Convention Center in the Inland Empire, hence the IE.
Yes,
very clever marketing. I got to reach out and just kind of was like, hey, like if we can. Guys, let us know if we can come check it out and do a little review and everything, because we've been doing reviews of cons for the past, since we started this thing.
Yeah.
And we enjoy them, and, it's like, let's try it out. And I got a nice, they reached back out and was like, yes, of course. So it's a small horror-based convention, but I think it's their second year. On the
Answer Nerdon's moving up, guys. We're being invited to cons.
Yeah.
Well, inviting ourselves to cons at least.
Well, yeah. They'll know what's up. Give us another year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like it's a cool. I mean, I'm actually kind of love the Ontario Convention Center.
No, yeah,
I think
nice.
we were there for Comic-Con Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great size space, and the cons are been fun.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, but Creep.IE Con's coming up at the end. September 23rd and 4th, and they've got a hell of a guest list for such a kind of mid-sized con. I mean, you've got
give us a rundown.
Yeah, Tim Curry, everybody,
Yeah.
the man, the
myth, the legend.
Start with that. Just Tim
God.
Curry's going to be there.
Immediately sold out, right?
Oh, immediately, yeah. He was doing photo ops on Saturday, and they sold out. But you got Rose McGowan. You got Holly Combs from they're from Charmed. The man Tony Todd. Candyman will be
and
there.
Venom.
He was also in one of my favorite horror movies, which is the remake of Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, that's right.
Such a good movie, dude. It was one of the first zombie movies that I watched as a kid. Probably, I think the first zombie movie I watched as a kid, which led to like I was like fascinated by the story of like these slow moving, shambling zombies like slowly descending on this farmhouse, and these people are like boarding themselves up.
Yeah.
So like I remember I probably watched it and I was like, I must have been like 7 or 8 or something, completely inappropriate, but
perfect.
But latchkey kids, we can pretty much watch whatever we want. And I remember just being fascinated by that story and being fascinated by zombies, and that led to like this lifelong like obsession and love of zombies. Yeah, exactly. Which is and I love. So now I'm very dedicated to the slow moving shambling zombies that can kill with a shot to the head. Whenever I see fast running zombies, I'm like, nope, I'm not watching this. Would you say
zombies are your favorite monster?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Chad, you have a favorite monster?
Favorite monster? That's a real toughie. I really. I mean, I guess it would have to be. Between,
I put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
we didn't discuss this.
Yeah, I would probably. It would probably be between werewolf and vampire.
See,
yeah, werewolf. That's my next one.
Werewolf, hands down. Yeah, for sure. I was a big werewolf nut. I mean, like, I mean, I love Teen Wolf. I mean, and Monster Squad. Mm-hmm. Werewolf's got nards. I mean,
yeah,
I was a big werewolf nerd.
Yeah, werewolves they're still awesome. Yeah. I've been trying to convince our friend Dan to watch Dog Soldiers, which is a great, one of the best werewolf movies ever made.
Speaking of because we're in the start of the scary season, spooky season.
Spooky season. That's why we're going into this. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dog Soldier would be a great one to watch for everyone.
Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet's
so good. Everybody hates on Silver Bullet. I loved it as a kid.
It's fun, yeah.
When he's got that powered scooter thing, that's so awesome. And he's like flying down the road. He's like doing like 60 miles an hour in a wheelchair.
But that's like one of the first versions of a werewolf where the human knows what he's doing and he doesn't care.
He doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
So I was like, but also then you have the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Jaden Spader.
That's a class. That's so good.
The Howling movies.
The Howling movies are great.
Those are so good.
Yeah, dude. And of course, American Werewolf in London, probably still to this day one of the best transformation sequences because you just when you hear like the bones breaking and rearranging in his body,
the hair coming out of his arms.
And, it's so. I mean, at the time it was revolutionary. But
also they're harder to kill than vampires because vampires have a list of things that can hurt them, and but you only have Silver Bullet that can kill a werewolf. So it's like, oh man,
and they're fast and strong and they used to have this thing here in LA. Usually it was it was Friday nights, but then during the weekend they used to have like movies playing. KTLA Channel 5. Thank you so much for showing me Predator, for showing me Terminator, for showing me all the Howling movies, for showing me Silver Bullet. They used to play all these movies Friday nights, and then during the weekends, and starting around like 1 and going until like 8 or 9 o'clock, they would show all these different movies. And for some reason, they got the rights to Howling, and they would show them a lot on the weekends. And I was home on the weekends a lot because my mom was working, so I would just sit there and watch all these horror movies. And then on Friday nights, Wednesday and Thursday nights, that's when they would come out. So that's how I watched Predator and Terminator and some of these, so many other, They Live. That's how I was able to watch all these like different like horror movies as a kid because they were a bit free on TV.
We can do this as we get closer and closer to Halloween. Is like per episode we'll bring a list of different like types of monster movies. Like we're talking about 4 or 5 different werewolf movies.
Right.
But, maybe next we'll do vampires or ghouls and goblins.
I just got the Blu-ray to Christine too because I love that movie so much.
So good.
God, that's a good movie, dude.
That was my first car I called Christine.
Really?
I was a big Stephen King. I used to read all the books. And when I first got my first car, it was a red Toyota Corolla. It wasn't a Plymouth, Fury or anything. But because Christine was the car that never died.
Yeah, what a great movie, dude. That scene to this day is still chilling and so well done. When the car's all fucked up, the guys break in and they smash it up, and then he realizes the car is sentient and can regenerate itself.
Yeah.
And then so he stands in front of her and he says, "Show me." Yeah. And the lights come on, and she starts regenerating from. God, that's good. Dude.
Yeah,
and how they play that music in the. Oh, it's so good, dude.
And also the way they did that was
they filmed it backwards.
Yeah, it's beautifully done.
It's so well done, dude. Yeah. So well done. Sorry, you were going through the list of
back on the yeah.
We're still on Creep.IE Con.
That was because of Tony Todd. That's what we're talking about.
We all love horror.
So also from The Boys and Lower Decks, and now the voice of Superman
and Scream 5.
And Scream 5, we got Jack Quaid is going to be there, which is pretty cool. I would like. And then of course, I'm the most excited about. Charlie Cox is going to be there. Daredevil himself.
That's so awesome, dude.
Are you going to give him a big old kiss?
I might. And they might have to pull me away from him.
Are you really going to go in your Daredevil costume?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so I want you to, because I'm going to shamelessly plug our podcast to him.
Yeah.
And ask if he wants to come on. He's going to be like, what's her name? Deborah Mall, who was like, oh, nice. And then was kind of like, next,
Yeah.
She's very nice about it. But, I shot my shot trying to ask her. We have our podcast. You'd like to come on. Oh, yeah. Whatever. Who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and Charlie Cox will be like, you know what? Fuck it, man.
They're not filming anything right now.
Exactly.
So.
But the thing is, the strike, he probably can't talk about a lot.
Right.
Who cares, dude? Just have Charlie Cox.
We can
talk to him about anything.
Talk about anything,
guess,
yeah, we can, yeah. Oh, we'll see if he wants to come on after the strike or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Who else you got in there?
Jenna Elfman from Dharma and Greg.
Oh, Jenna, yeah.
Is she in anything horror related?
Yeah, she's in Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The show I've never watched.
Yeah,
so I didn't know that.
I'm 4th, 5th season right now. I'm really far behind. But this last season that she was in was really good. It was really good.
Nice.
She's going to be in Daryl.
I think
is she still around on this show? Or?
I think she is. I haven't caught up to the latest. I haven't caught up to the latest season, but I think she's still a main character on it. But the season that she was on was there was a really good character on there called John Dory, and he was great. It was her husband in the show. But it's portrayed by Garrett Dillahunt, who's who's a great actor. He's a great actor, and he that character was. I continue to, because I've been streaming it. I continue to watch the season just for him, because that character was so well done.
Nice.
John Dory's character, Garrett Dillahunt.
And this one's, Chad might be really excited about this. Well, voice of our childhood, Skeletor himself, Alan Oppenheimer.
Yeah, man.
I did meet him at he was at a Frankenson,
no way.
In their other, before they moved.
In their old
locations.
Space.
Yeah, they would have celebrities show up. And he was there, and then Pat Fraley, who was the voice of Krang from the 80s.
No way.
And they were sitting next to each other and
dueling cackles.
Well, that was the thing, because
awesome, yeah.
I got in line for Pat Fraley, and I was just talking to him. And then I was having him do the voice, and then his Krang voice, and Oppenheimer he would be doing his Skeletor over back and forth.
Get out of here!
It was great.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
just that just hits me in the right spot right there.
And I learned only probably after the fact that he was the voice of the Rock man in Neverending Story.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's him
cool.
voicing him, and I was like, "Oh, that's great. That's so cool." That's awesome that he's going to be there.
But yeah, it just seems like a really cool thing. If you guys want to check it out, their website is creepycon.com.
Creep.IE.
Creep.IE.
India Echo.
Yeah. Check it out. It seems to be growing every year, bigger and bigger. So I hope it gets to be
Because I'm a
big deal.
creep.
And we'll be there next week. So look for us, and we'll be hanging out.
Feel free to punch Stan in the face. You could just run up to him.
Just come up and just fucking slug the fuck out of me.
Just we make sure we got the cameras rolling. So
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
TikTok and
World Star. We can world star.
But you better knock me out, because if you don't,
Yeah, we're not going to hold Stan back. So.
yeah.
Stan punched Helen Oppenheimer, 85-year-old Helen Oppenheimer.
She socked me in the face, dude. Yeah. Hey, she squared up, so it was all fair game.
He knocked out Skeletor himself.
Stan.
And then he swings on me. It'd be great
It's
story.
like a
man.
Bob Barker fight.
Yeah, exactly.
He just fucks me up.
I was in. I think he was
In World War
II, maybe.
Oh yeah,
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm just laying there knocked down. He's just laughing.
I always wondered if he was related.
See
to
you again, Stan.
His last name is Oppenheimer.
I'd be so honored. I'd be so honored. Like, hey man, how'd you get that shiner on your eye? I got knocked out by skeleton. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, I have eye damage now, but whatever.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I crushed your orbital socket.
He does know a lot about bones.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
Skeletor.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it. Thank you.
There you go.
Hey, what happened to your flute?
Oh fuck!
God damn it!
God damn it!
That would have been a great opportunity.
That would. All right.
God damn it, Chad!
We'll
I just now realized you don't have it. You fucking
I
asshole.
I completely forgot.
I know. Did you even order it?
No, I completely slipped my mind.
Of course you did. Of course.
That's gonna change.
I'm gonna order it for you right now on the podcast.
He's opening up Amazon
right now. And I'm gonna. You think I'm playing? I'm gonna.
No, but I want a big one. I don't want a little
slide whistle. There's one that says slide whistle for adults. That's
one. They're
$12.
It's a sexy one.
Yeah.
Do you want the one that's blue or pink?
Blue.
All right. Blue. Wow.
What?
Wow.
Well, when I was born, my mom painted my room blue, so deal with it. I didn't get to choose.
They assigned that to me.
They assigned that color to me, but my favorite color is green. Though, if there was a green, I would take it.
Not too late. It's already paid $13 for 2 of them. There you go. Now you
got 2. You got 2.
It's a 2-pack.
Okay,
so it's a blue and a pink.
Okay,
so
there we go.
Yeah,
Stan gets the pink.
That would have been great for the Barbie episodes. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, but this is an audio medium. So.
No, well, I mean, we could have took a picture. We could have taken a picture. That's a possibility.
Oh my god.
So, Creep.IE Con.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
So excited.
On the 24th, right?
Yeah.
So come
also,
up. Also,
TLC will be there. Performing Creep.
Oh my gosh.
No. I was like, really?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
R.I.P. Left Eye.
Yeah. They'd probably come to the podcast. The remaining 2 members. Yeah. And so then we had the 2 Godzilla trailers that recently came out.
Yeah. Yes. So
those are pretty dope, man.
I'm pretty excited for them.
I shared them in the group, and then later on somebody shared it again.
That was me.
And everybody was like, "Oh, awesome!" And I was like, "I shared that like a day ago. What the fuck?" You know?
My problem is because I sleep during the day like a vampire, so I don't see like most of the posts, and then I pick up my phone and there's like 72 freaking
There's
posts.
a lot of messages on our group chat, on the Reading Rainbows group chat.
Ridiculous. Like, you guys are so fucking chatty during the course of the day.
Well, I mean, we have the 2. We have the one on Instagram and the one on actual text now. Right. So it's like, that goes back if someone posted in one thing and you didn't check that and you posted in the other.
But I pick up my phone and I'm panicked because I see I missed 74 texts. Yeah. And I go, what's going on? And I go, no, it's just you guys doing dick jokes.
Yeah, it's all just talking shit to each other.
It's so much shit talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the 2 trailers, very different feels from both.
Yes.
I think that it's interesting.
They're not connected in any way.
No. One is from the Shin universe, right?
Yeah. It's G-1, and it's a sequel to the previous movie Shin Godzilla, which is basically in Japan post World War II.
I was pretty because I knew the Shin Godzilla is kind of more modern day and dealing more with the
you're right, it is modern.
Yeah,
I thought it was because it was a sequel. I thought it was I think taking place right after Shin Godzilla.
No, because that dealt with the how the nuclear disaster they had there in the mid 2000s.
Fukushima.
Fukushima. Thank you. But that was kind of a direct response to that,
right?
Because if you watch that movie, it's very much how the bureaucracy is slow about trying to deal with it, and Godzilla is an analogy for what happened to World War II and the atomic bomb and everything. So seeing a movie kind of set in that timescape,
So then is it a prequel?
I guess so, or maybe it's just
I think it's a standalone. It seems like it's...
but they are saying it's connected to...
Really?
Yeah, that's what I've read, but maybe I could be totally wrong.
And I don't see how they do that.
The director is from Kamen Rider, I think, is doing the movie. And it looks great. The special effects
so good. Yeah.
I'm curious, though, if it's going to be the atomic bomb created Godzilla, or if they just woke him up.
Woke him up. It seems like it woke him up.
Yeah. But that looks really good. And then also from Amazon... We're getting from...
Isn't it Apple?
Is it on Apple or...
I swore it was Apple, but...
Okay. No, you might be right on that. I don't know. But we're getting the Legacy movie trilogy...
Right.
TV show, which... or is it a TV show or movie? Do you know?
I thought it was Apple, too. Yeah.
It seemed like it was going to be... come off as a movie, but Apple tends to have like a show, miniseries type of thing.
Yeah.
It's a series. It's going to be a series on Apple TV.
There you go.
Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Which is they set up the whole Monarch, thing through the course of their Godzilla movies,
right?
Yeah.
Where
also in
King Kong,
especially in the King Kong film,
yes,
with John Goodman.
Yeah, and this looks like it's to be the exploration of that as a government group, like starting out and exploring the monster world, and we're getting, which I think is really awesome. We're getting Wyatt Russell. Yeah, as young Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome,
it's you get Kurt Russell like modern day talking about his experiences.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they got his son to play him because they look freaking ridiculously close to each other.
So are they doing like a? Is the show going to be like, oh, we're sending in a team to check out this?
Yeah, that's what it looks
awesome.
like. It looks
Monster
like
Island or Skull Island, whatever it's called.
Well, the way the trailer was framed, it seemed like we were sent there to protect that world or something. But now I think things have changed and they've started attacking the creature. I don't know the whole context of because the way the trailer was cut.
Yeah, it's a nice teaser of like the world, but they didn't get into it that much. But it looks cool.
I love those kind of setups where they're sending like this team of people, or like scientists and doctors and soldiers, and they have all this technology with them and their guns, and they send them in and they immediately get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, there's a movie in the '90s. It's kind of forgotten now, but it's called Congo.
It's a great movie.
And so like they have like it's more like at this point it's more like a corporation, but they go in there and they have air conditioning with their tents and things like, and they have like advanced weaponry and immediately it all falls apart as soon as they get into nature. I love those kind of setups where it's like, oh, look, these humans thinking they're so advanced with their weapons, their instruments, and they go in there and it's just like it doesn't hold up very long.
Well, the trailer to me felt more like I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Right Stuff, all about the start of NASA and the space race.
Yeah.
But it feels very much like that of them, like, kind of like astronauts going into this world of monsters.
Do you think there will be a rival group to Monarch?
I think so, because they have that in, I think it's Godzilla King of Monsters. There's that group Apex, I think they're called.
I think you're right, yeah. Because it bleeds into Godzilla versus Kong, where they create
the Mecha Godzilla, yeah,
right.
And it has.
So I think probably they will. Yeah, they'll probably expand on that. Hopefully, who knows?
I mean, it
does have Ghidorah's brain in there. Huh? I forgot about that.
Although, I had kind of a problem with that because I was like, I wanted Mecha Godzilla to be its own thing and not controlled by a human at first, and then at least Ghidorah took over after a while, and it wasn't just a human in there,
right?
So.
Yeah.
I hated that design of Mechagodzilla, though. They made it it was very like Megatron from Transformers. They just a bunch of added stuff on there.
Well, I think it leaves an opportunity because Mechagodzilla always comes back and he can upgrade.
It's
or
true.
Depending how they do it. But I mean, there's other versions. There's like Space Godzilla, so that one's gonna be ridiculous if they bring that one down
with the big crystals on his shoulders.
I was like, geez. Also, did they do what's the turtle one's name?
Gazeta? Something G, isn't it?
Gazora? I don't remember. Oh, man. I'm blanking on it. Yeah. But I always loved him. I hope we get to see him. I know they did like 3 in King of Monsters.
Yeah, they did Rodan, Mothra,
and Ghidorah. Right?
And
King Ghidorah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, what?
Gamera, yeah.
See, but the thing is, like, I wish they saved King Ghidorah for last because he's like his main,
he's the ultimate bad guy.
Bad guy. So it's like you blew your wad there,
right? And they did kind of talk about he was extraterrestrial. They said that. Oh, he's
okay.
Yeah. So that kind of does.
So they can bring more alien, Because how many can you pull from that other world, down there? So especially if Kong went back, and now he's king again.
Well, then the next movie, which is was it? I forgot what the title is. It Kong X. It's Godzilla X Con or something like that.
Oh, so they're combining them again?
Yeah, they're doing. Another movie should be coming out next year.
Oh, interesting.
And there's a red ape down there. I think is going to be the main villain.
I mean, all right, I guess
like more like a giant orangutan this time.
So it'll be Christopher Walken from Jungle Book.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking as soon as you said orangutan, I was like, well, that's going to look weird. Okay.
But I mean, I would hope because they have such an opportunity to create new creatures. They don't another ape. Just do like I don't know something.
Yeah, like I like
you've had lizards, you've had you've had monkeys. You could do something else.
What do they call
like those those flying snake things from the last one?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Those are awesome, yeah.
It's just, I mean, it seems like they're just thinking about it a limited way that they could expand upon it and do more crazy stuff with it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But hopefully, the human story in Monarch will be better than anything that's been put in those movies.
Yeah, man. The last one was just like with Millie Bobby Brown. I was like, I don't care about her. I don't care about Millie Bobby Brown. I don't give a shit about this. Like, move on.
Yeah.
You know?
Like
the way they did it with the first one with Bryan Cranston, he was. I like how he didn't overshadow anything. He was just kind of there, and then he was gone. He died. And then his son was
and he was the main bit of the marketing.
Yeah,
right.
And then it was like, oh nope.
But I like that. I was like, they're not okay. That's cool. But then his son was like, his son had an actual mission that made sense with inside of the movie.
Yeah,
being part of the military and having to infiltrate the areas that they were in.
Right.
I was like, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I hated the mutos, the creatures from that one that Godzilla ended up fighting.
Yeah,
they look terrible. Like the design of them were just like giant crickets or something.
Yeah, they didn't look great.
Yeah, I mean, I think those were inspired by a creature from past Godzilla movie. I forget what it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was supposed to be Rodan or like a version of Rodan, but it wasn't. It was this insect type of creature. I forget the name of it.
Because Godzilla creatures are so beautifully designed.
Yeah,
like, all the original old stuff. It's just like so out there of left field. I mean, I forgot there's one of them's got like weird like hooky hand thing, and
I think there was.
I don't know.
I want to say there was like a crab like one, but it's been so long since I've seen a lot of those. So like
I used to love watching those. Yet again, thing you'd watch late night. On like basic cable, they'd always have like all the old Godzilla
Channel
movies.
5, Channel 5, Channel 9.
Do you think we'll get?
Do
you think we'll get baby Godzilla who can't do the fire breath?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
You get thrown around.
Speaking of trailers, Aquaman is supposed to be.
Yeah, we saw a teaser for they're dropping the trailer. I think Thursday.
I'm gonna kill Aquaman,
which is like because I think we talked about it with Justin.
Yeah,
like the movie's supposed to still drop in December.
Yeah.
Like it's still supposed to be coming out in December.
We'll see.
And it's like amazing that we didn't get a trailer until now. And I don't know why they're dropping it now and not,
I think they were, working on or fixing whatever they needed to do. But after how Flash and Blue Beetle.
So do you think waiting is going to be beneficial to the movie?
Because they don't have anything else coming out until then. I'd say, right? So, I think it might, because I think the gap between Blue Beetle and Flash was too close.
Right.
And that reflected on the Blue Beetle. So, like, I think this gap might help a bit, but it might still flop because it's just like, is Aquaman still going to be in the universe?
Is it relevant?
Is it relevant? Yeah.
But obviously, all the bad press that it has gotten, will people want to see it still with the Amber Heard controversy? But
she's not in the teaser at all.
Yeah,
like it's a lot of Aquaman and Black Manta. But
I kind of feel they might do like
at all.
I kind of feel like they might do like a Rose Tico with her, where it's like, oh hey, I have to go do this other thing.
Right.
Like in the very beginning of the movie, like that's it.
I really hope he loses his hand if they do that story. I don't think
great.
they will. I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I mean, like this might be the last one with Jason Momoa, so
most
go broke.
likely.
Probably lose a hand. Why not?
Yeah. But I don't know and the reshoots that we kept hearing about, and people like not liking the testings. So it's just like, hopefully, I want to root for it, but I just like after what we've gotten, I don't know.
Yeah, and I just read that Warner Brothers, they had a quarterly meeting, whatever, and it was like I think they said they've lost something like $300 million this year.
Jeez.
I mean, because Barbie did a lot better than they expected, but everything else they've put out,
it's been
just like even like it was Flash and Blue Beetle, Shazam came out this year. No one remembers, and the Air movie, the Michael Jordan shoe movie.
Oh yeah,
like that was supposed to be a big hit for them, and that bombed. Like not bombed, but it didn't
do as well as they thought it would.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about Disney earlier. It's the same thing.
Yeah, Disney's hurting.
They're hurting real bad.
Yeah,
they're hurting real bad, and Disney Plus is hurting them still.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why break out that physical media, Disney, and WB, start selling them on the market.
Yeah.
Because I'd buy a couple things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd give you a little moolah.
Yeah,
little
I just
cash.
recently this weekend I picked up the animated series for Batman.
Yeah, there you go.
On Blu-ray. Yeah, because I didn't have it, so I was like, might as well get it.
Speaking of, today they just released the 4K of Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
And there's a
Oh,
tribute
nice.
for Kevin Conroy on there.
Oh, that's nice.
Also, speaking of...
Yeah, speaking of which, we didn't bring it up in the last episode, but we did lose another member of the Batman family, Arlene Sorkin, the voice and inspiration for Harley Quinn.
Yep.
Who, because it was, the story goes, originally it was scripted that the Joker was supposed to come out the cake.
Yeah.
And basically they were like, we don't want he's going to be a lot less menacing if he comes out the cake. So they're like, well, what if we make it a female Joker goon, And Paul Dini was friends with Arlene Sorkin from college, and she was on an episode. She was on Days of Our Lives for years.
Yeah.
And there was an episode where she plays, and I'm sure the clip's out there all over the place now, where her character is in a dream sequence as a clown.
Oh, yeah.
And you see, the costume, the voice, it's pretty much Harley Quinn.
That's awesome.
And so she inspired the look and everything of the actual Harley Quinn character in the show.
And the rest was history.
Yeah.
And I got to say, she's still to the day, my voice-wise, my favorite Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Because the ones after her have kind of made her more baby voiced, and
that's the thing is there. If you listen to her voice, everything's been a real kind of pale imitation of it.
Yeah,
and they've never quite gotten that, because she could do the real kind of New York baby voice thing, but then she could turn it on a dime. And I don't think we've heard that yet from anyone else. Even Tara Strong, who I love, is it does the baby voice thing.
It just comes out as bubbles to me usually with a Jersey accent.
Right.
So, but hers, she
and Kelly Kuko's doing a great job, I think, on the Harley Quinn show.
She does all right.
Because she's not trying to do an imitation.
No, she's doing her own thing.
Right.
But still, I like the because it brings, as much as she is a PhD doctor, that Jersey accent brings her down to more of a grounded character.
Well, and there's a great episode where Harley gets out of Arkham and is trying to live a normal life.
Oh yes, yeah.
And you hear that kind of more she is smart. She does have brains, and she really is trying. That's one of my favorite episodes.
No,
because she's really trying to make it on the outside world, and then finally she's like, "That's it. I can't do it."
Yeah,
because they think she stole a dress.
Yeah,
and it's so good, and she's so great in that episode, and you really feel for her. She just doesn't get a break,
right?
Yeah,
and that performance is amazing. So
yeah.
We'll miss you, Arlen.
We will miss her.
R.I.P.
We lost a great actor.
And I do like Margot Robbie's interpretation from the Suicide Squad. It's great.
I'd say Margot Robbie's voice was probably the closest.
Yeah.
To Arlene.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see what Lady Gaga does in the Joker movie. I think she's really going to do it a complete different spin.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely very Lady Gaga.
It's going to be the Gucci family accent she used.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh, man. She's going to be taking Jared Leto's classes and doing Italian accents. Can't believe he got away with that movie.
Yeah. Speaking of movies, Bottoms was recently Watson recently watched Bottoms.
Yeah,
tell us about that, man. I haven't watched it.
It's really cool. It's a fun flick. It's it's a very small kind of indie movie out there. It's very much akin to the kind of early 2000 kind of teenage comedy movies that were out there, Easy A or Superbad. It has that vibe. It's based on it's about two lesbian. They even say in the movie they're we're untalented, unattractive lesbians, and that's because they're why can't we be popular in school? And they're one of them's it's because we're gay, isn't it? You see the theater gay kids are all loved by the school, everyone loves them because they got talent, basically. So no, it's not that. It's just because we're ugly and untalented. And through the course of the movie, they start a women's self-defense class, not really for any good reason other than they want to be able to touch other girls. They're like, yeah, we'll get girls all sweaty, and then we can like hang out, and then and it's really funny. It's got. I gotta look it up now. Sorry.
Yeah, I pulled it up on my phone here.
The
see
actors
what the cast
in it.
look like. Yeah.
Well, it's got what's her name from The Bear?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, apparently Ruby Cruz is in it too, who was in Willow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
she's
great
Willow
in
the
it.
show or Willow the movie?
Willow the show.
Yeah, she's really funny in it. She's great. She plays like a real like psycho in the movie. But yeah, so Rachel Sennett from Shiva Baby and Ao Dabiri. I'm saying that wrong. Probably. Yes.
Yeah, from The Bear. Yeah.
From Bear, and also the voice of April O'Neil in the new
Ninja
Ninja Turtles movie, killing it this year.
Yeah, dude, she's so
great.
good in The Bear, dude.
Yeah.
She's so good in The Bear.
And I didn't know they were like roommates back in like college, and actually did a bunch of like internet stuff. Like, so a lot of their stuff was online. It's really funny. But yeah, really funny movie, very out there. It's got some pretty good action sequences even. I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's a good like fight scene in it. And it's, for me, like watching it, like at the beginning I was like, this feels weird. Like they go into one class and there's just like one of the football guys, like the football team kind of makes fun of them through the whole course of the movie. And the football team never takes off their football gear. Like they're always in their football pads and shirts. And like one of them is in a cage. Like in the back of class, you just see a cage, and there's like a football guy, just like an animal in this cage.
Okay.
And when I started watching, I was like, oh, this is like an episode of Daria. Like it's that heightened kind of world where it's not real, like it's not like our real life. It's this heightened world where it's like the jocks never get out of their sports gear. Like they're treated like gods in the school, and like all the kids are very much you're kind of atypical characters kind of thing.
Right.
But if you watch it like that, like, and then there's a you can also tell like the limitations of the budget. Like whenever they did this big like they do a pep rally, right? And they could only fill like half the stands. Like there's not enough extras to fill up all, what I mean? So it's just like, it's this funny thing of like, they're doing this big pep rally and there's only like 30 people there. And you go like, oh, this is a small budget movie. But I think because they're doing this heightened world, you can kind of get away with it.
That's cool.
Yeah. I definitely say check it out. It's a fun little movie. So
Bottoms, check it out. I'm looking it up right now, and then some of the it's got a pretty interesting cast.
Yeah, but I mean, like we saw it, like a Tuesday afternoon kind of thing, and I think it was me and my wife and one other person in the theater.
Oh, really?
And it was one other guy, and he was laughing his head off, like kind of like Cape Fear style, just 2 rows in front of us, just like just maniacally laughing.
That would have been great.
But it's a very funny movie.
I always wanted to go, even though like I would never do this in theater because I was like, I know proper theater etiquette.
Yes.
But I've always wanted to reenact that in a theater of Cape Fear, me laughing with the cigar.
So
just
good.
Ridiculously.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Such a great movie. Such a great movie.
Awesome. Yeah, check out Bottoms. Another movie that I recently checked out that has been out there for quite some time. So obviously no spoilers for a movie that's been out since 2003. I recently watched Old Boy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man.
And this is the original Old Boy.
This is the original. Yeah, this is the original Korean, South Korean.
Not the. Yeah, Spike Lee one is. It's not even a Spike Lee joint. They don't even call it that.
Yeah.
In the movie. It's
what's got what's his name?
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. So it was out on theaters recently. So yeah, it was an interesting. Somebody wanted to go see it.
It's a 20-year anniversary of that film.
Yeah,
right?
so I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, it was like on a Thursday or something like that, and late at night. So I was like, yeah, sure. So we wanted to go see it, and then I had obviously heard about this movie before, but I didn't know like how influential it has been within the last like 20 years since it's come out.
Yeah.
There's a hallway fight in it, and I'm sure whoever's listening, if you don't know what Old Boy is, it's a complicated kind of story, but he gets kidnapped.
It's a big revenge.
Yeah, it's a revenge fantasy story, and he gets kidnapped and he's held in his room for 15 years. Teaches himself how to fight. He goes in there as this obnoxious drunk that doesn't even give a shit about anybody, and he teaches himself how to fight by watching TV.
Yeah,
and all he does in the room is
an
work
amazing
out.
performance.
Great performance,
and just the way he looks in the beginning of the movie, like it's a completely different
completely
character.
yeah
he goes
definitely
through a whole transformation.
Yeah, because in the beginning he's the movie starts.
He's kind of bloated.
He's in this. He's in this police station because he's public intoxication, and he's acting like a dick to the cops, and he's talking shit to them, and he keeps standing up, and they keep pushing him down. Yeah, and he's kind of out of shape, but he's very clean shaven. And then it didn't even look like the same actor.
No,
the actor,
crazy.
Yeah, Choi Min-sik.
Yeah,
sorry if I said that right, but wrong. And and he looks like a complete different person when he comes out of the room, because all of a sudden he's released from this room and he goes on this.
Well, and that haircut is so iconic.
The haircut, he's got this kind of fuzzy hair in the beginning because he's very well clean shaven and well groomed, and he's got gel in his hair.
Right. When
he comes out, he's a scruffy looking dude. He's completely buffed up because he's been working out for 10 years.
Yeah.
And he goes on this revenge fantasy to find out who put him in the room and why, and we eventually find out.
Because he has no idea why.
No idea. It's just he just kidnapped one day and he's thrown in his room.
The beautiful thing is it's
so simple.
It's the pettiest thing you could possibly do. But it's just amazing. It's such a good movie.
It's for the antagonist. Mm-hmm. It seems petty, but we find out it's not.
Yeah.
Like he actually did, not trying to. He did a lot of damage to this to the antagonist's sister.
Yeah,
by
spreading a
rumor, and that's just telling one guy. It's like, oh, by the way, don't tell anybody.
Yeah,
and of course the guy that he tells everybody, and spreads this rumor about this guy's sister and completely destroys her socially. And but it's even a small thing. He just happens to mention it. It's not like let me tell you what I saw. It's just oh, hey, I saw this weird thing.
Yeah.
Just this one little happenstance in life, and it turns out, it destroys everything.
Right.
It destroys it leads us past destruction to so many different people.
But funny, speaking of physical media, and I remember when this movie came out, I was working at Blockbuster, and this was a movie that was kind of under the radar for a long time. Came out on DVD and blew up,
yeah,
because everyone was like, dude. This is the grossest movie, because it was one of those it was kind of seen as a cinema nasty kind of movie,
mm-hmm.
When it came out. Now you watch it, you go it's kind of tame,
yeah.
But because we
for
just
the time,
this
early
was,
2000s,
yeah, exactly. This is pre-Human Centipede and all that stuff. But
even the revelation at the end nowadays would be whoa,
yeah. And it's just, oh man, I remember it just taking off when. On DVD, it was huge. Everyone had that DVD. I remember.
That's right. Yeah.
Because it was everyone's introduction to Korean cinema,
right?
And what that could be, and that director's work. I mean, he did the whole he did a thing called the Vengeance trilogy, where it's Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Lady Vengeance, and this one, and all those movies are amazing. I mean, he's got great work, and he has a vampire movie, I believe it's called Thirst, which is so good, and it's got the same actor in it.
Oh, okay.
I'd say definitely check that out, especially if we're going to talk horror movies in the future. I should probably hold on to that one for our vampire episode.
I'll check it out.
That I've already planned in my head.
But there's a very famous hallway fight.
Yes,
where the hallway fight. He runs into a bunch of thugs for the guy that's been keeping him in this room, and he fights his way through them. And watching it, I was like, "Oh shit, that's Daredevil."
Yeah,
that's the Daredevil fight.
Yeah,
and and then I read up on it, and it was the Daredevil makers. That was a homage to Old Boy.
Yeah.
They used the same lighting and even the same paint scheme on the walls.
Yeah,
I was just like, "Holy shit!" And then
that kind of green.
Yeah, greenish kind of. It's so good. Yeah, and apparently it was one of the first movies where and surprisingly enough, Daredevil did this as well. It was one of the first scenes in movies where the hero and the people he's fighting get tired.
Yeah,
which was you don't think about it nowadays, but at the time we had The Matrix.
Yeah,
which was this very stylized, very clean thing where it's
but people are doing
Neo. Because Neo could he gets tired, but at some point it's when he's training, he's and that's when Morpheus tells him you think that's air you're breathing? Mm-hmm. This isn't real. What are you doing? So then he doesn't get tired. Once he realizes that he doesn't get tired, nobody gets tired throughout the entire throughout most of the films, people don't get tired.
Well, I mean, but any action movie at that, during that time, you watch any fight scene. No one ever.
Particularly in the 90s, particularly in the early 2000s, it was just like people can take hits and they just keep going. They can run miles. They're barely out of breath. But here in Old Boy, it's what, 4 minutes,
right?
And everybody looks exhausted by the end of it because they were actually swinging on each other and they were doing. I mean, they weren't actually making contact.
And you see shades of that in like the new Mission Impossible movies with the bathroom fight with Henry Cavill. Like those guys, they take a minute in the middle of that fight scene to just be like,
let me catch my breath.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Daredevil, I remember one of the biggest things about the Daredevil series was that's what people were commenting on. It's like, oh my God, because again, we had these very clean, like, Marvel films that had come out before that, where you had Steve Rogers and you had Iron Man and these heroes that could take and deal a lot of punishment, and you didn't really see people get too winded or tired because they're these superhumans.
Well, Captain America would be like, I can do this.
But he was still punching people left and right.
That's true.
And he was, he leapt up on a jet at one point. It's just like So, but in but then we go to Daredevil, which is much lower budget and it's much more toned down, and you see the hero who's exhausted by the end of the fight, and then even the people he's fighting are just kind of like as they're punching each other, they're just kind of like they kind of stand there for a second, catch your breath, and they go at it again. It's just it was well regarded for its brutalism and its reality. And I was when I saw Old Boy, I was like, oh shit, that's Daredevil again. They did it. It was a complete homage to that. It was amazing.
And I think they not as direct as that one in the first season. But in the second season, Punisher's hallway jail fight with those prisoners.
Amazing.
I think that was still influenced or still an homage to
season 2 also has him going down the staircase.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting the biker gang.
Fighting the biker. That's another one where
and then we had the prison scene.
Yeah.
Another great scene. I'll watch clips of those on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. You can watch those sequences. All
the hallway fight, the biker fight, and the prison fight, and Punisher's prison fight. My God. Those 4, oh my God,
gold,
just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's why I'm a little hesitant to see what happens with Disney.
I was just about to say.
I know because they're coming out with the new. Well, hopefully at some point we'll see.
Knock on wood, Daredevil and Punisher supposedly.
Right.
Do you think Kingpin will have an eye patch?
I think so. I think
probably.
Kingpin will show up. I think in Echo when that show drops.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming.
You don't think they're going to hold it?
I mean,
it's filmed.
But why are
Batgirl was filmed though?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Don't remind me.
We'll see if they
don't tell me about my hurt.
But the thing is, like they're in trying to fix themselves mode with the whole, because apparently Jonathan Major has a large role in Loki season 2.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, are you guys reworking this or what's happening exactly?
That's supposed to drop soon, right? Loki.
Loki
supposedly October.
I thought it was later this month, but it might be October. Yeah. But I haven't heard of any other thing coming after Loki season 2.
No, because it was supposed to be they had Ironheart filmed, and they had and Echo was supposed to come out I think at the end of the year as well, and they're holding all that off until down the line.
But I'm like, does Echo take place before Daredevil? Because that's what it's just like. Should they put that out sooner? So
I don't know.
So at least we'll be like, oh, how did Kingpin survive?
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get anywhere near what Daredevil and Punisher used to be.
Right.
I don't think
it's gonna be a watered down version.
Yeah, there's not. Gonna be much blood.
They do have the Netflix shows on Disney Plus right now.
That's true. They do.
And they didn't edit it at all.
No,
it's not like they cut anything out. So
we'll see. I mean, hopefully at this point they realize, like, listen, these shows were very successful for a reason.
Yeah.
Because they were realistic and the characters were very compelling. Let's just stick with it because they've already lost a ton of money. Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, exactly. We've already lost a ton of money.
I was watching Arrow, which
I
loved Arrow. I thought it was great. And then
we had Arrow and Flash.
And then you watch Daredevil and you're like, oh, like this is a whole nother level.
Well, Arrow and especially Flash felt very cheap sometimes.
Yeah.
The costumes look good.
Right.
The special effects look good, but that's where they sunk their money into.
Yeah, and then
everything else was like, this is a backlot.
Yeah,
you can tell.
But if you watched like after Daredevil came out and you watch Arrow, the stunt sequences got a lot better.
Right.
Like they did a lot more one-ers. They did a lot more like hallway fight kind of stuff.
Yeah, good point.
I just have to bring up in Daredevil season 3 the Bullseye versus Daredevil fight in the office where he's just using all the office items to throw at. I was like, that was so good.
Yeah,
it was just done so well.
Yeah, I think that was after Daredevil, wasn't it?
No. Wait, what was after?
Oh, never mind.
Oh,
I got confused. Yeah. No, yeah. I'm worried about how Disney's going to handle it. I don't think it's going to be well done, but We'll see.
I mean, because
they're also doing Punisher too. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Can you see another Punisher fight scene in the prison? I mean, can you see another? Can you see him gouging a guy's out with his thumb like he did in that prison fight? I don't see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been interesting to see all the Marvel shows through Disney, because they all definitely are. They're within the same universe, but they all seem very unique.
Right.
Like, WandaVision versus Miss Marvel, they're very different shows, So I think they are a little bit more creative and a little bit more, elastic, if you will, with all their shows. Like,
well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fits their kind of theme more so than Daredevil. So it's funny that they're not even including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
in
it's not in the continuity at all.
Yeah.
At all, yeah. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then, we have to talk about One Piece, even though none of us have actually watched it. You guys got to turn in your nerd cards.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, whoa! What about you?
I was
he
never.
was never an anime guy.
That's true.
I like anime. It's just not One Piece. I didn't really hear about it until I started hanging with the crew here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell is that?" And apparently, it's been out since the '90s.
Yeah, man.
I've never heard of it before.
I think we should watch the live action, and then we'll get Dan on, and we can all talk about it.
I think so. That's a good idea. Yeah. But I've heard really good things about it. So it's the same company that did Cowboy Bebop live action, and we all know Cowboy Bebop live, and I love Cowboy Bebop. I bought the series for that and watched it, and then I tried watching the live version of it, and I was like, this is not. I don't know what this is.
It's funny. I remember when they announced that show and they put out the opening credit sequence, because it was was almost frame by frame identical to the cartoon. They're like, "See, we're doing it, guys."
Yeah.
And then from everyone I talked to, they're like, "It's nothing."
I have spoken to people who have watched One Piece, and I was asking them. I was like, "Okay, so if you were gonna put One Piece, would you say it's far way better than the live action Cowboy Bebop?" And they say yes, it's much done much better than that. But also, like, people who have seen it, and this is Japan, so you can't really put it next to Netflix's production of anime, live action anime. But I was like, the best live action adaptation of any anime, I think, is
Full Metal Alchemist.
No, I haven't seen that. But Rurouni Kenshin, the samurai films, there was a trilogy first, and then they did 2 sequels after, and they're amazing. They did those so well, and everybody loves those. Who has seen them loves those films, and so obviously they like, well, you can't connect it to that. So at least this One Piece apparently is way better than Death Note, and then the Cowboy Bebop show. So I am excited, and so
what they did with Cowboy Bebop is that, and I kind of feel it's the same thing with Ahsoka, is that none of the characters felt like they were from the animated version. Just like I don't feel like any of the characters from Ahsoka feel like the animated versions themselves. They're different.
They tried to
their
do
personalities
a
are all
mix,
different
of the two, and it just didn't fit.
But I heard with the One Piece, they're just all they did was just take what was in the animated and just put it into the live.
They probably learned a lesson from if it's the same production company, Cowboy Bebop. They're probably like, well, why didn't this work? It's like, we had this property, we got the rights to it. Why couldn't we make this?
It's a beloved franchise. What happened?
Exactly. Like, and the fans speak.
Yeah.
We're not going to watch it if you're gonna. Look, we don't want to have another Dragon Ball Evolution situation here.
I mean, I also
that's the bottom of the bar, right? It's got to be.
I think a lot of problem with Cowboy Bebop too was that there was a lot of attack on the fans because there was backlash from it because they had heard that they had changed things. So immediately the fans were attacked by people on the show, and it's like, don't do that, dude. Don't do that, because now, like, if people who are true diehard fans that would have watched it, that would have bought products from the show, Now you're really turning them. At first they were kind of like on the fence, like, I don't know about this. Now you're attacking them, then be like, okay, now I'm really not going to watch it. And casual fans don't. Casual
and these
people
shows are pricey to make,
right? And casual fans would be like, "What the hell's Cowboy Bebop?" I'm not interested. You're not really going to draw in a whole lot of new people. It's going to be the established fan base who are going to bring in new people themselves,
right?
Like One Piece. Like I didn't know anything about it, and now people have been talking about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, now I want to check it out.
Well, and the ads and stuff I've seen, they were really smart of like getting the actual like the animation, like the animated voice cast.
Yeah,
the the lady who does Luffy's voice,
right?
Oh yeah,
like kind of like said met the guy who does the character and was like, this guy's gonna be great, like trying to get that love from the animation.
Well, I mean, they already have it on the Japanese side because the dubbed version of it is from all the Japanese voice actors who do the show, do the show. So I was like, there you go, that's perfect. So if people because obviously when new episodes of anime come out, it'll be a bit before it gets dubbed here.
Yeah.
So people would usually on Crunchyroll or whatever and watch it the day after, but it's going to be subtitled. And they're probably used to those voices. So if they weren't a fan of the casting for, the live action casts here, they can obviously just turn on the dub and then be like, oh yeah, this is just our
I wonder
show.
if we have access to that, because you can go on there and you can change the country that you're listening.
Oh yeah, true.
I wonder if you got access to the Japanese version.
I think you can. Yeah, you should be able to turn on the
audio option.
Yeah, because I think Netflix lets you do that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Should. Interesting.
It should.
Huh.
If it doesn't, shame on you, Netflix.
Well, because I know the main actor. He's Spanish, and he does the Spanish dub as well.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna check it out for sure. I watched the first couple episodes of One Piece. I think there's like 900 now or something, nearing 1,000,
nearing
something
1,000.
Like
that.
Yeah.
A few to catch up on.
Just a couple. We know people who are like on episode 700, 800,
and they've been
like
watching it for 3 years.
3 years. Yeah, it's still going now. Apparently, they're still making episodes about it. Apparently, I was like, okay. I mean, I think if I was maybe a little younger, I definitely would have gotten into it. Like if I had started watching in high school, I probably would have gotten into it more. I'm not interested in it, but I'm not in a hurry to get back to the animated series at the same time. So
that's
fair.
I'll catch up to it, I guess.
Or
I might just circumvent that and just go straight to the live action. We'll go.
I mean, I'm sure there's lists online of like if you don't want to watch the full. I'm sure they'd be like, watch these episodes, watch these episodes.
Yeah, it's just about the main story.
Yeah. So
it's funny because I haven't binged a show in such a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I used to binge shows like that all the time, and now it's like I have no time for that. But I just did binge all of season 1 and 2 of The Bear. Like I just caught up completely with The Bear. Yesterday I got.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I love it.
So isn't it so good?
It's so intense.
God, it's such a great show.
It's it's funny because it's like you immediately feel anxious,
right?
And you're like, they're just making sandwiches, guys. Like,
but the way it's filmed, because everything's close up, and the music that they're playing, and then everybody's reactions to things.
Yeah, and just little things.
The tensions on everybody's face. Yeah,
like you just hear it all.
Oh, it's so good.
Or like when the order machine was like spitting out receipts, and that constantly you could hear it in the background.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh.
I also love how it's kind of it's not filmed traditionally.
Yeah,
there's some parts where two characters are talking, and they ask something from a character that's off screen.
Yeah,
and it's traditionally a show would cut to that character responding to that question or whatever.
Right,
but they don't do that.
Yeah,
you'll just hear the character like answer the question from a different room.
Right,
I love that because it feels like you're right there in the kitchen. It's such a great show, man, and like every single character has an arc. That's
what I like about season 2
is
they're exploring more like single episodes just on one person.
I love that.
Like I just watched the one where the guy went to Copenhagen, to learn how to make pastries, and friggin' Adam Strange is not Adam Strange. What's his name? Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
What's that guy? Will Poulter,
something like that. Yeah,
is great in it.
Yeah,
as just the pastry chef. He's got the same shitty tattoos that that the main guy has, that Karmi's got. Right, I was like, that's funny. Like, all these chefs have shitty tattoos.
I I volunteer in a nonprofit, and I'm there every Monday at a food kitchen, and we hired a chef a couple years ago, and he worked in like upper class, like 5-star restaurants. And I asked him about that show, and he had already binged it himself. And I was like, "So is that?" He's like, "It's probably." He said it's probably the most accurate show in terms of like chefs and cooking and the way kitchens are run that I've ever seen. Wow. He said once I saw the way that they drink out of the containers. Yeah. He's like, I was like, oh my God. He's like, he was shocked by that because he had never seen that in a show before. Yeah. And I was like, what? I was like, what is that? Is that like some kind of tradition thing? Like, I'm just gonna grab a container. Like to me, I was thinking like, oh, it's just a chef's gonna grab a container.
Why aren't you gonna get a glass?
Yeah, it's like but I'm like, oh, it's a thing among chefs. That's what we do. Just one day somebody grabbed the container and it's spread. But he didn't. He's like, well, that's not that. It's in high quality restaurants. You're not allowed to have like cups out. You're not allowed to have like water bottle containers or water bottles in general. You can't have them out because if say a critic comes back there, they'll point that out, and it's just not
because it's like a ingredient.
It's not what 5-star restaurants do. Wow. So that's why you have an ingredient container because it now just looks like it's just an ingredient that's sitting there waiting to be put into the food or whatever. But it's actually how they drink out of. He's like, so in our kitchen, he has one of those. He has like a black like steel container. He's like, I didn't buy that until I started working here, because my entire time as a chef, I was drinking out of those ingredient containers, and I was like, oh, he's like, so when I saw that, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. So yeah, he's all, of course he's tatted up. Yeah. he's like, yeah. I feel
like Bourdain started that trend.
Probably, yeah. And he's like, every chef I know has tats. It's just something we do. Yeah. And he's got sleeves. Yeah. And so he loved it. It's just it's such a good
show makes me want to smoke more. Like, because I used to smoke in college, and like every time like Carmi's like, I gotta go light up, I'm just like, I get it. Yeah. It's so stressful.
And just like the character progression of Richie, who's played by Eben Moss-Bachrach. Yeah, Bachrach. Sorry if I butchered that name.
When he goes on the date and he's talking about like, and speaking of Punisher, like Bernthal's in there,
right? As the older brother, the brother that killed himself,
right? Like you get like one scene with him, right? But it's so good, and you see like young Richie, like all clean shaven and having a great time.
But like the great thing about Richie is that he starts off as this like kind of like douchey guy, and he's like, and when the bear comes in, Carmine, he comes in and he's trying to change this kind of sandwich shop into like this more professionally run organization. He's like, fuck off, what are you doing this for? This place used to be cool. Right. Like, why do you cover be chef? Like, he's constantly giving him pushback, even though they've known each other for a very long time. And of course he's resentful that the restaurant wasn't passed to him because he was the best friend of the brother. But then we have a character progression with him where he gets sent to like this 5-star restaurant to like train to kind of be more of a professional type of like kitchen staff member, and they have him just polishing silverware the entire time. And then towards the end of the episode, he realizes like the professionalism and the pride that these people take in the food industry, and then he transitions to it. And at that end, when he's singing that Taylor Swift song, it's so good because he's realizing because in the very beginning of the show, he's constantly like, why are you in this kitchen?
He's fighting it.
He's like, what's your purpose? Because everybody in the kitchen has a purpose. Even the chefs that have been there forever, they're cook. He's not a chef. He's just kind of like the middle management guy. He runs the front.
He runs
the front, but he's not. He's kind of a chef, but he's not. And then he even asks Carmine at one point. He's like, what do you think about purpose? Like, what's my purpose? And though he finally finds a purpose
too,
and he finally finds a purpose at the end.
Well, you see him too, like seeing how the neighborhood is changing when he's saying like the bar's closing down, and you just see like he hates change, and I think it's because since the brother died, like you just see him trying to hold on to whatever he can, and then Carmi's coming in and just like changing and gutting everything. It's so good.
Chad, you gotta check it out, dude.
No, I watched it. It's amazing. But I wanted to.
Why would I bring ketchup for hot dogs? Some asshole does that. Children.
That's right. They knock all the children out. They put in trucks.
I actually stopped putting ketchup on hot dogs after the show. I was like, you know what? They're right. It doesn't necessarily need to be on that. But I was going to ask, nowadays with streaming shows, would the term a show being binge worthy like The Bear,
right?
That defines an amazing show. Because I mean, like you have Andor, you have that.
Yeah.
Like if it's a show you are like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and crush,
just consume it,
consume it. Is that what we're looking for? Is that what everyone's looking for nowadays? Like they want.
I feel here's the problem, man. I think within the last, I want to say maybe 5 or so years, we've had kind of a diminish. We were for a long time. I think we were in like this golden age of television, right? The second golden age of television, where we were getting these amazing shows back to back. I've always said I feel it started with Sopranos and Lost. I've always said that. I can make an argument for that. Where we started getting these high quality shows on television. Before they were kind of like. It's kind of like Buffy, not Buffy, but
no, you can say Buffy.
No, Buffy was definitely high quality, but it didn't reach like the levels of like, it was still very standard television. That's what I mean. Yeah, like Xena is what I was wanting to say. Like Xena, the Warrior Princess, Hercules, those were kind of very standard television. It's like it's not very in depth. There's not a whole lot of risk. The storylines are kind of basic. Good versus evil. Evil's always going to be defeated. Good's always going to triumph. Yeah, that's it. And these people are good no matter what. These people are bad no matter what. It's very black and white. There's very little grays. But I think within the last 5 years, unfortunately, we've had kind of a drop in that, where it's there's been a lesser of a quality of TV and movies have been put out, where now it's just kind of like, things don't really have to make sense. There's not a ton of conflict. It seems like there's more of a certain type of message that's being pushed, which that's their prerogative. That's fine. But I think the storylines and character developments have kind of suffered because of that. A good example of that is Willow. I mean, I keep shitting on that show, but a good example of that is Willow. Is it's just like it's
R.I.P. Willow show.
R.I.P. It's just not a very good show. I mean, it was just poorly written, and it seems like it's just something like, okay, let's put this out there and we'll see what happens.
Right. Hope we get a second season.
Hopefully we get a second season without actually worrying about telling a good story and having good characters. Yeah. Which is, it doesn't matter what you do. It could be a fantasy show. It could be, a crime show. It could be a hospital show. Whatever. The very basic things are always going to have people coming back, which is good characters and good storylines. That's it. Everything else is secondary to that. I don't care whatever the character is, whatever their their race, their gender, their religion. None of that matters aside from if it doesn't add to the storyline. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't drive the story forward and it doesn't push that character forward. Don't worry about it. Right. Everything else is secondary to telling a good story and having a good character arc. I think we've lost that a lot in the last 4 or 5 years.
I'd agree with that because there's been a lot of this like, hey, we're going to get these IPs like Willow or like Picard. Yes. Right? Where you're like, you have good thoughts of those IPs and we'll kind of figure it out as we go. And then people lose interest. But I think Picard learned the lesson, and then by the third
season 3 for sure
elevated it. Right.
The problem with that's good. Yes, with Star Trek in general, Picard, Star Wars especially within the last trilogy. Hey, we've got this fan base. Anything we're gonna put out, they're gonna consume. Right. That's the mentality. Everything after that, it doesn't matter because we got this built-in fan base. Right. Put it out there, they're going to consume it. Indiana Jones is a prime example of that. Dial of Destiny. It's a good example of that. Hey, we got this great iconic character everybody loves. Just put it out there. It doesn't. Who cares? They're going to love it. They're going to consume it. Right. And now fans are like, no, like we watched these originally not because it was just like some cool guy, but because of the storylines that were inherent within that IP. Right. And if you don't have that, fans are gonna pull out. But we were saying, going back to what you were saying, Chad, I think that shows like The Bear it's one of those few nuggets. Andor, those are some of the few nuggets we're getting out of the last couple of years where it's like that is old school storytelling. Where it's like they're focusing more on what the characters, like their arc and telling a good storyline.
The Bear reminds me a lot of how I felt watching Breaking Bad.
Exactly.
Yes. That was a show where I was riveted and just seeing how far that character would go.
Exactly. And it was about the
decisions.
Decisions, consequences is another one. I don't think that a lot of stuff that's been put out lately has a lot of consequences. The choices the characters make, there's not a lot of consequences to that. There's really no danger anymore. You know, as opposed to going back to Breaking Bad, you know, going back to early Walking Dead, going back to early Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
All those, the choices the characters made all had consequences, and nobody felt safe. Nowadays, it's just like, particularly when it comes to Marvel, particularly when it comes to Star Wars, some of the other stuff has been put out, Willow. It's just like, it doesn't matter. We know they're going to get through. There's nothing feels dangerous.
They got to make it through 3 seasons and 2 movies.
Exactly, you know, and
you're gonna put them in Secret Wars.
That's why I loved 24 so much, because I mean he ended up in a Chinese prison for a year or 2. I was like, exactly. Consequences.
Yeah, he got addicted to heroin.
Heroin. He had to decide, like, am I gonna torture this person? Yeah. I'm gonna get in trouble for that. You know, like. Everything felt high stakes, you know? Yeah. And that I think that's the Bear and Andor, especially Andor, like that. Everything feels high stake, you know?
It was that whole season of 24 where he had a shin splint and he was just like, ah.
Yeah.
The whole season? No.
Yeah. But yeah, everything feels like there's one false move and you're done. So that's I think that's why people love the Bear, and you just like the characters. They're just like, they're real. They feel like real people.
Grounded.
Yeah. They're grounded, and you just want to root for them. You want them to succeed. You know, after about 20 minutes, I really didn't care what happened to Rey, because it's like, apparently she can just barrel through anything.
Rey who?
Rey, exactly. Rey. I don't. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't you fucking say it. Exactly. You know, and so that's
she messes it up. Sky runner.
Yeah.
Sky dancer.
But Rey's a good example, again, going back to that, because it's like, when she said that, I heard a collective groan in the theater. Because it's like, you didn't earn that.
Yeah.
That's not you. You didn't earn that. And maybe at the end, we felt that she had earned it. People would be like, yeah, okay. You just took that.
Well, whereas in this universe, you can just pick any last name you want.
Right, exactly.
We learned that with Han Solo. Yeah. Just like, he's alone.
Exactly. But with like shows like Andor, Breaking Bad, The Bear, like, these characters very like you can feel Saul. Better Call Saul. You can feel the tension in the air, and when they do succeed, and when they have their little going back to Richie, when at the end, when he's just like, you know, I get why people like this, why people are part of this profession, and he takes pride in it. You're like, oh shit, that's earned, dude. So when he at the end of the season, he takes over, like being like the kitchen manager. Like, putting out what orders need to be going, what orders of food need to go in, but need to have priority. It's like a big thing.
Stepping up.
It's a huge thing in the kitchen to be this thing, right? And he learns it from this restaurant he was sent to. And when Richie steps up, when there's a time when the character tells him, Richie, drive, which means drive the kitchen, tell us what to do and where to go. And when he steps up, you're like, oh, I got emotional watching that, because it's like, Richie is a character that this entire time is like, what's my purpose? Well, what do I do? And he's been like this clown kind of.
The bachelor party episode where like he punches the guy out.
Yeah.
Right.
And you see him like, I'm going to go to jail.
Go to prison, because he knocks the guy out.
Yeah. And like, you know, he talks about his kid calling him like dad bad news kind of thing.
Exactly.
On the phone, it's bad news whenever he calls.
Yeah.
Like, you just feel for the guy.
You feel for him. He struggles. I mean, he's not the only character that does that. But
his best friend is dead.
His best friend is dead.
The one guy that he like related to.
He's been running this restaurant basically for his years. And it wasn't left to him. He says
cousin, you don't even know what we had to do to get through COVID. You know?
And then at the end he is accepted into like the fold of this restaurant where he's now like this professional like kitchen manager.
No joke, I'm tearing up.
When I watched the episode, I felt like that. Yeah. That's why I felt I started getting emotional.
It's deserved. It's so deserved. Seasons.
Yes.
Of development for that guy.
Exactly. You know. Yeah. Exactly.
From being the joke and the piece of shit.
Being the joke, being the piece of shit. I mean, everybody in the kitchen really is like, they like him, but you can feel it's like he's kind of like a third wheel.
Yeah.
And then
because he's not a, you know, like you say, he's not a part of the kitchen staff per se.
Right. Yeah. No. I got very emotional and watched it when she tells him drive, and he steps up, and he can, you can see it on his face.
And their back and forth is
and they're constantly going at it, and he steps up there and he starts to kind of start belting out the orders, and it's just like, damn, that's such a. And the entire time, the main chef is locked in the freezer in the refrigerator accidentally, you know. So they're running the show. Oh, it's so good, man. It's just, I'm getting emotional too now.
Yeah, man.
And he was Micro in
he was
Punisher.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And with those two shows, Punisher, Daredevil, the consequences in that.
Right.
I mean, that's why
Punisher and Daredevil is a great, another great show. Yeah. Another great example. Yeah, and that's Ayo Edeberry's character. Her character and Richie are always going
with her
at
dad
it.
too.
Yeah, with her dad.
Yeah.
Man, it's just what a great show, man. What a great show. Yeah, I'm getting emotional too,
Yeah,
man. It's
So I haven't seen it. The
Guys,
Bear.
highly,
Check it out.
yeah, highly recommend.
Why are you
it.
crying?
Yeah, it's,
and then they,
yeah.
You just
But I mentioned
he
Buffy.
makes the donut. And
Yeah. That pissed me off, though.
he threw
That
the
with the
donut?
donut?
Yeah.
No, he pissed me off. The
he
baker.
yeah.
Because he was like,
Well,
working
he
on
was
this
so
donut. Yeah.
hyper obsessed
Yeah.
with it. Yeah, of getting it perfect.
So the funny thing, I brought that up to our chef at her kitchen at her nonprofit, and I was like, oh, and he's like, that part with the donut. He's like, dude, that would have pissed me off so much. I would have done the same thing. Like, what the
Right.
fucking slapped that out of his hand?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Because they were at a crunch time. They really needed him to start cutting bread,
Yeah.
and he's still working on the donut. And he's like, hey chef, check out this donut. And he's like, what are you
And he's
doing?
so proud of it.
Yeah, he's so
Yeah.
proud, and he just like slaps it out of his hand. Towards the end of the season, he apologized for slapping the donut out of his hand. But I kind of didn't feel. I was like, he kind of also should have been like, you're right, chef. I should have probably been concentrating on my job as well.
Yeah,
but we didn't get that. I was like, that was the only weak part of the show. It was fine that he apologized,
Right.
but also the other guy should have been like, I was bad. I was wrong too. My mistake. You know. So, but anyhow, I recently started another great show. I recently started watching Buffy again. I'm talking about binging. I'm on the second season right now. My girlfriend started rewatching the entire thing since she hadn't watched it since she was a kid. And so I would watch episodes with her whenever she'd be over here. I'd be at her place. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I hadn't forgotten, but I was like, damn, this show's so good. I got to start rewatching it. So it still holds up. I just wanted to put that out there. Still, the fight scenes are still so damn good.
Right.
And I couldn't believe this is a WB show made in the 90s.
I mean, this is back when WB was nothing.
Nothing.
Like, they had this
They had
show.
One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek, I think.
Yeah.
It was mostly like teen comedies.
Yeah. And
dramas.
nothing this dark or,
Nothing-
like, and just really, like, there was nothing really like this,
Nothing.
Like, it's funny now. It's such, like, we've got, stuff like Riverdale and even like MTV did the Teen Wolf show and like supernatural, teen dramas is like such a genre of itself now that we have so much of it. But really, at that point, it was just Buffy. I mean, I remember dating my high school girlfriend, and it was like Tuesday night we'd watch Buffy together.
Yes,
yeah,
man.
like it was like a ritual.
Tuesday nights at 9, I think, is when it came out. Yeah, I'd always watch it.
Well, we wouldn't have Buffy without the movie with I forget her. I'm blanking on her name.
Christy Swanson.
Christy Swanson and Donald Sutherland.
Right.
And
Drew Perry.
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman, R.I.P.
Yeah.
It's like, and like it was dark, but it was more of a comedic.
It was more much lighter than the TV show.
much lighter than the TV show.
That's why.
But it set it up for
Right.
to be what it was.
Yeah.
And like I just think
Well, because Joss Whedon wrote the movie and was not happy with the way that it turned out.
Well, that's why it was
He
so
didn't
light,
direct it,
because that's not the way it was supposed to be. So the show was how he wanted the movie to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But yeah, it's just and the fight scenes still hold up really well.
Really well.
Yeah, it's just like there's very I'd said this earlier, but it's still very like formulaic TV for the time.
Yeah,
because there's still like 22 episodes or whatever it is, and so there's a lot of filler stuff they put in there. But it's still, I mean, but even the filler stuff is, but even the Monster of the Week stuff is still really good.
Yeah, and the whole like idea of having a big bad at the end of each season.
Right.
Well, this show started it.
So, exactly, yeah.
And it's funny because it was for just a practicality thing. The whole like vampire dusting thing was so they didn't have to deal with a bunch of dead bodies in the show. They were like, how do we have like, she can't just like kill a bunch of people and just like, where are you going to bury bodies? So they were like, oh, we'll just have them turn dust. And it's like, now it's kind of like everyone's.
Yeah, that must have.
Because they do it in True Blood. They do it in Blade.
I was about to bring up Blade. It's like that. They must have been like, well, yeah, let's copy what they do.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about body placement on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Just turn them into dust.
Yeah. Like, it's such a good show. And I mean, just like I said, I'm mostly through the second season now. Right. But the episodes I would catch with my girl, she was moving through them pretty quick. So I remember pretty much every episode. Mm-hmm. So she
very. I mean, the writing on that show
so good, man.
You got Jane Espenson. You got some really heavy hitting writers.
Really heavy hitters, man. And it's just and the themes of it are dealing with like teen depression, suicide. There's LGBTQ issues on there with
Early
Willow.
on.
Like she was the first show to have like a main character who was gay.
Yeah.
One of the very first shows. I was like, oh my god, this show.
Her arc was tragic.
Her arc was very tragic. Yeah. Willow's is just oh my god. Yeah, it's just I just want to bring it up there. It's just I'm gonna get through as much.
Seth Green in it yet?
Yeah, he's already Oz. Yeah, he's in the second season.
Yeah.
He plays. Speaking of werewolves,
werewolf.
Yeah,
that was such a good episode.
I love
how they did that.
Yeah. God, what a great show. But yeah, I mean, I recently bought tickets for Halloween Horror Nights.
Nice.
And Not Scary Farm. I already got my tickets for Fright Fest. So yeah,
spooky season's well on its way.
Spooky season well on its way. I think by certainly not next episode, but the episode after that, I should be able to talk about. I've done Halloween Horror Nights a couple times, and I've mentioned it on the podcast before. If I can skip Halloween Horror Nights, if the Queen Mary has their event, which is Dark Harbor, I will usually skip Halloween Horror Nights and put my money into Dark Harbor because I think it's a much better event. So I always do 3. It's Knott's, Fright Fest, Six Flags, and Halloween Horror Nights, or Dark Harbor with the Queen Mary. Queen Mary apparently they're doing their Shacktoberfest.
Right.
I didn't hear good things about it last year, so I'm gonna go with what I know, which is Halloween Horror Nights. But this year, for the first time, I'm doing the RIP tour, the VIP tour. They call it the RIP tour, and it includes dinner, which is pretty interesting. So they feed you dinner, then they walk you around with a guide. And you get your own. They kind of like shuttle you from. Halloween Horror Nights is spread out over
the
Universal.
entire. Yeah.
So you have to walk.
There's
to
the upper lot, lower lot.
Upper lot, yeah. But now you get like a shuttle that'll take you to different places. So you don't necessarily have to walk everywhere. You get there's
general front.
So yeah, so there's general line, express, and then there's the RIP, which is like you walk up there with your tour guide, and
So you can actually probably do all the mazes.
Well, you can do it with all express, except that sometimes you have to do a bit of a wait. Sometimes if you're gonna if you can afford it, it's very steep. So, but if you can afford it, do express, because I think this year there's 8 mazes, but even in the past, when I've heard this from other people, when they have like the general, sometimes it's like an hour and a half for one maze. Yeah. So you might, if you're lucky, you'll do 4 or 5 out of the 6 or 7 mazes, right, if you're lucky, which is crazy. That's crazy. And so express, sometimes you got to wait like 15, 20 minutes, but mostly you just get right on. Yeah. It's not worth. General is just, it's a long wait for a maze that's like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for the amount of money you're spending to be there.
Right, exactly.
Where 90% of the time you're in line.
Exactly.
They should
so
have
this was.
Oh no, I was just gonna say they should for the speed one. They should have the escalator walkways from the airports to go through the mazes. So you don't have to walk. So it's like, just move it along. Move it along.
You don't even have to move.
Yeah, it's like ding, 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 ding.
Just go through all of them.
But this is this is my girl's first time doing it. So she wanted to do the RIP tour. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So
go big.
Yeah, exactly. So in the next 2 podcasts, I should be able to give some insight on how well it was. Nice. And then the next day we're going to Not Scary Farm, the one after that. So Knott's is always just a great event. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I highly recommend it. And then Fright Fest is, it's your pretty standard one that's at Six Flags. It's pretty standard.
All the scare actors know Stan by now, so they dap them up when they they don't even try and scare them. They're like, "Yo, what's up, man?"
Yeah, what's up? I recently saw a video of this. Don't go to these events if you're a person that gets upset if you get scared. That makes no sense to me, right? So there's a video that's from last year, but a scare actor was assaulted by like one of the guests. Like the guy just went up and just side checked him, drove apparently broke his arm or his hand because he hit the ground, and he yells at the guys he's walking away don't scare my girlfriend. Don't scare. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you here? Where do you think you're? Right. Where do you think you are, dude?
He's flexing on a cast member.
Yeah, and just came at him from the side. The guy didn't even see him coming, and just power drive.
That's a fucking Will Smith move.
Yo, babe, did you see that? I knocked out the Bubba Duke for you.
Yeah, it's just
because they know the actor can't hit him back because that's
I'm so strong,
against
babe.
The rules.
Yeah, seriously. So, but yeah, don't go to these events if you're gonna get scared, right? And start trying to hit people.
No, it's all have fun. That's the whole point. It's like You go to these things, like you're gonna get scared. It's part of the fun of it, right? Like just enjoy the ride. Don't start anything. I don't know.
So true. That's me. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's all I have. You guys got anything else to put out?
No, I don't think so. I think I think next episode we'll be able to talk about Creep.IE Con.
Thanks again for taking care of that, Walt.
Man, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm
I didn't even know about it until you
I was just looking up what cons are out there in LA coming up this year, and there's a lot. There's a lot going around, dude. I'm excited to see what goes on.
That's awesome, man.
We'll do a little report about it.
Well, thanks again, man, for taking.
No worries.
Watson very generously picked up the tickets for us. Appreciate it, man.
Well, that's what I'm here for. No.
Yeah. Oh, really?
No.
You want to pick up some Hollywood?
It's on tape. Oh
no. And you guys are invited to come with us if you like to any of the events. So
I might.
I know. Chad,
I might hit a scare actor. I might be like,
"What's up,
man?
Don't
scare me, dude."
That's how you say it.
It's the little girl from The Exorcist. He's just like banging her in the face, like, no.
No, I don't know. It's just not my thing.
I would love to have all three of us go through a maze for a Halloween a podcast.
We would have to film that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like they're just.
Have you? You don't like them, right? You don't like the mazes?
I don't know. They just. Yeah, I get it. They'll lunge at you, and I'll flinch or whatever. But I don't get enjoyment out of it. I don't know.
Are you just uncomfortable the entire time?
Not uncomfortable because I know the scare's coming. It's It's just like I don't know. It's not like a thing. I like. Oh, I want to go. React to being. I don't know.
Here's the thing with me. Like I'm not flexing. I don't get scared in the mazes because
I know you were in the military.
Well, no, it's like
a bullet flies.
But people have gone through. They like really get scared. Like they're like, oh my god, they're like flinching and like covering themselves up. Like to me, I'm the entire time I'm going through a maze, I just have a big smile on my face because I love the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Mostly, I think I've said this on the podcast. I wish that they would just do a lights on tour like during the day, and because I just like looking at the props. Yeah, because I love props. So I'm just like, oh man, how could I would love to just. So like sometimes I'll see the scare actor. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. And I'm just like looking around at like the cool room I'm in. Like, oh my god, look how they set this up, and what's the lighting like? And meanwhile, the scare actor's like jumping in my face. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Oh, awesome, bro. It doesn't scare me.
There's so much. I mean, being someone who's built some of those mazes, like there's so much detail work in. No, those guys do that. It doesn't really get seen.
I set up my little graveyard every year in front of my house here, and I'm always doing maintenance because the wind's blowing everywhere. This year I bought some like purple light bulbs. Yeah, so I'm gonna set them out up there, and we'll see how it looks. But if it wasn't for the wind tearing anything up and being a little worried about people stealing things, I would definitely have a bigger display out there. Yeah. And plus it's expensive, so that's another part. Right? So that's another reason I can't invest in a lot, but in a lot of like graveyard stuff, but yeah, I love just I go just for the atmosphere. No, that's the only thing. It doesn't creep me out, and especially with the other problem with Halloween Horror Nights is that they always have a cast member, or I don't know if they call them cast members at Universal, an employee,
characters.
Yeah, no, it's an employee like in a black. They always have them like in black robes. You can always see where the scares come from because they always have employees standing there in the black robe. Right. And then here comes a scare actor. So every time you see an employee, you're like, oh, here comes a scare actor.
Right.
And like whenever they have like the turns of the mazes, you can pretty much rest assured there's going to be a scare right there. Whenever you have to make a left or a right, there's going to be a scare actor. And every time you make a left, there's an employee standing there in their black robes. And, oh, here comes a scare actor. Come on, so I can always see where they're coming from. It very rarely do they get me like, oh shit, like all right,
I remember like when we did the mazes at Midsummer Scream, like they would be like, and I was like, I'd always be like, good job, like I didn't know what to say.
Yeah,
I'm like, you got me this time.
Yeah, no, I just laugh. I don't do anything. I'm like, hey, great.
Yeah. See, that's why
some of my friends he's like, oh, okay, all right, watch out.
Yeah.
I try not to say anything to them because I don't know what's gonna like. At one point, they're going to be like, this guy's talking shit to the security, so I try not to do any of that.
Yeah.
That's why they need to hire me, and then I'll have a zip line set up and like, swing it down.
Although, this is one of the...
and crash into something.
Oh, God.
It's a one-time scare.
Yeah.
It's Chad on a zip line.
And hospitalizations for both.
Maybe I'm on fire. Like they just set me up. Go. I'm like,
but you're not wearing any like fire protective gear. It's just your clothes.
Chad, I think you're here just for the zip line.
Yeah. But I will say this about knots. They don't do that as much. Every now and again, you'll see an employee standing there. They also have like these brown robes, but they don't do it as often.
Right.
So sometimes you can't tell. You guys like that looks probably where they're coming from, but there's not an employee standing there. That's why I love the Queen Mary, because they do it on the actual ship, where it's very difficult to post people because you're walking through the engine room, and that thing. Like sometimes you'll pass like a bulkhead or something, and there's a guy there like, oh shit. So that was
I'll get you.
Yeah. We also went down this hallway, which was like pitch black, and you're like, I can't see shit. You can see a light at the end, and you kind of you can't see shit. And then they had a guy like somehow was standing above like right above your head. So as you passed him, he would reach down, and that did get me. I was like, oh shit, because I didn't see him. So that's why I love the Queen Mary. And damn, I wish they would come back with that. Dark Harbor's so good. Dark Harbor, if you're listening, bring your bank back. God damn it.
I would love them if Disney did something the Star Wars land. Like
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Undead stormtroopers.
Zombie stormtroopers.
Yeah, cool. Or
and they're accurate with their guns.
Yeah.
Or like the Wampa, like the big monster in the cave. You could do like some cool stuff, especially like going through when you're going through the ride, the Millennium Falcon ride.
Yeah,
there's so many small tunnels and stuff to get through the line.
Yeah,
you could do something cool with
that'd
that.
Be awesome.
Rise of Resistance,
that'd be so dope.
Or you just have a bunch of Sith walking through the park and stuff.
Yeah, kind of like sticking like the lightsaber in your face.
Well, I mean, it'll be dark, and then you see all these red lightsabers light up, and they just chase you.
That'd be awesome.
Like that.
Oh, that'd be because then you could do a lot of like different Sith.
Yeah,
like makeup.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be dope. Yeah. Because now they have a scare at Universal. They opened up for many years. The Harry Potter section was closed off for the event, but now it's a scare zone. So you go through there, and they have the Death Eaters.
Oh, that's
like running around.
Yeah,
and it's really cool.
And you kind of make that world part.
Yeah,
of it.
you walk through. There's that like little alleyway that's I don't know what it's called. Like where the stores are at.
Alley.
Yeah, and all the Death Eaters are back there like moving around. So it looks really cool, and they have a lot of fog back there. Cool. It was a lot of fun, yeah. So I think it was the last year was the first year they opened it up as scare zones back again. So
nice.
I can't wait.
Exciting stuff.
And
man. And with the Chad, but with the RIP thing, the Super Mario World is shut down for the event, except for people who have RIP and I believe Express.
Oh, so you're gonna hit that up?
Oh yeah, definitely. I haven't gone on it yet, so I definitely want to check it out.
This would be the best way to do it.
Yeah,
no one's gonna be in there.
No one's gonna be in there. Yep. Oh, it's gonna be fun.
But I was just gonna say, I also like I know I flinch at stuff only because I have an older brother, and growing up when he just fake
flinching.
Oh, you flinched, or he's just throwing shit at you all the time. You're just gonna that's it's just built into my.
Best one you gotta walk through the maze with just your hands in your pockets.
The best one is they got something in their hand, they throw it at you, but they actually drop it before they throw it.
Yeah, it's like,
so it looks like they're gonna. And you're like, oh shit.
Or they throw it low instead of high, and you get hit in the nuts, and that happened a lot.
Good times.
Good times.
Yeah, good times.
That's what older brothers' jobs are. So.
Yeah. Well, I could have done without it. It would have been fine. I would have been fine if we skipped it. Skip that. Leave me alone.
This is a public service announcement.
Yeah, go ahead, Chad.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Enter the Nerddom. And if you aren't already, hopefully, you have liked, you've subscribed, we haven't gotten any messages, guys. Come on, message us.
Come on.
Say how stupid I am, or say how Stan
stutters a lot,
like a
dumbass.
And Watson, tell him to go back to England or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll take it.
Just something. But yeah,
tell us if you want us to review something.
Oh yeah, if there's anything you like that we haven't talked about, or if we'll look at it.
We're taking input.
We're gonna watch One Piece, so just send us some anime, send us some whatever you want. And
whoa! Don't ask for us to send us anime because we're gonna get some weird shit.
Hey, I don't mind. I'll take the dive.
Chad's gonna be our filter, and he's just gonna end up bleeding
guys.
from the eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
guys,
I saw it.
I saw the sun.
I saw it all.
But that's it. Enter the Nerddom, exit the horror house filled with, scare actors that think they're scary, but it's just like you're kind of annoying me. I'm just trying to walk.
Chad's older brother.
It's like, God, come
every
on.
turn you go.
Every
Chad's
time.
He's like, Chad, look, think fast.
He was like, come on.
2 for flinching.
I'm 36 now. Leave me alone.
What are you doing here?
How'd you get back there?